As you think about new concepts that Tom's going to introduce to us today, think about what if the change you are avoiding is the change that gives you wings. And with that, I want to introduce our amazing guest of honor, Tom Ferry.
All right. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? How many of you, just so I have context, it's a little loud for the AV guy, and I talk loud. Just so I have context, how many of you have never seen me live before? Raise your hands really high. Yeah, I suck. All right, got it. Okay, cool. Number one, just not in Massachusetts. Anybody here, just so I have context, anybody here from Revere? That's where my wife's family is from. Revere. I'm kidding. You guys know where Revere is? Yes. Do you feel bad for them? No. Because my father-in-law bought the house after World War II, I want to say 1947, 1948, for like $9, right? And then sold it for like $8, right? So it turned out okay. All right. So how many of you know, like, even though you've never seen me live, you have some context for me? You've seen me on, wait, hold on. Have you made the mistake to click on one of my Facebook ads, Instagram, and then I chased you around the internet? Anybody? Okay, I feel slightly better. Okay, good. All right. So this is very nice, but in fairness, I have 237 business coaches in 7 different countries around the world. We work with about 16,000 people in 29 different countries. So I get the credit because I'm the one that does most of the talks. But the real work, as we all know, is our clients, right? 3 or 4 of them are right here inside this room. I'm not going to talk to you about coaching today. What I want to do is, could I be your coach for a couple hours? Is that cool? All right, just some way of taking notes. Okay, and at the end, I'll give you a QR code because I'll give you all of my slides and a whole bunch of stuff, like including like 15 different listing attraction campaigns. You guys up for that? All right, so I'm going to talk to you exactly as I would talk to any one of my clients, and just so for context, I only personally coach a few people today. The CEO of Home Services, $2 billion in profit, the #1 coal banker agent on the planet. Just a bunch of people like that. Probably my most fun one is a gal named Maxine Gellens. She works in a little town in San Diego called La Jolla, right? So La Jolla Del Mar. So Maxine, for context, on April 27th, coming up this month, will be 85 years old. Yeah. I've been her business coach for 24 years. Right, last year she made $6.1 million selling houses. Now, her average sales price is like $2 million, right? But she sells a ton of property. And literally, I was as her coach with her when she got her first check from the government. You with me at like 65, like retirement age? And she kind of giggled and said, how could I possibly live on that? Let's sell more houses. Now, what's fun is whether I'm talking to a brand new agent or Timmy Smith, who last year did just shy of $1 billion in sales. He has a team, but his personal business was 800 of the billion. So he's a good agent, yes? Well, what's a daring sales price? He listed 130 houses on 300 appointments. He's doing okay with me. He's helping a lot of clients. So whether you're brand new or you've been in the business for 30 or 40 years, it doesn't make a difference. Here's what I know. It just, for fun, to the person to your right or left, and if you have a threesome, ladies, just go with it. Right? It's a conference, have some fun, right? Like, drinks are later. Just turn to somebody, look them right in the eye and say, your head is a scary place to be. Say that. These 3 are cute. They're like, didn't even have to say it, already knew it. But here's the thing. Meaning, if I say to you, here is an email that when you send it, you will get listings from. I'm going to give you that today. I'm going to actually give you multiple variations of it. I'm going to say to you, here is a texting campaign that we know works. I've got thousands of clients doing it in the US. Every time they send it, they generate opportunities and listings. There will be one of you, I'm just not sure I want to do that. And here's my loving response. Shut up. Do it anyway. Does that make sense? Because Stacy said, but plays essentially that you ran during the pandemic, some will apply in this environment, but many of them won't. Yes or no, guys? Yes or no, everybody? Okay, who's got kids that you're aware of? Who's got kids? Okay, anybody have, I have a 21 and 23-year-old. So I'm at a happy meal, I'm very much in happy hour. You know what I mean? Like my 23 is like, hey dad, like never calls, ever, just messing fun. Text, hey dad, come meet us for drinks. Sure, I would love to buy your friends drinks, right? That's all that really means. But see, even he realizes, right, at 23, now starting the professional side of his life, either going to Boston or New York for work, he says to me, I just realized the stuff I was doing in college, I can't do as a young adult, right? And yet I know real estate agents that will try and run the same plays regardless of the market. And you want, does anybody in the room, do you want people to suffer? I don't want people to suffer. And yet I watch people every day struggle to just say, let me just try something new. So my hope is throughout the day, I'm gonna walk you through all this stuff, and you're gonna take just 2 or 3 things. You're not gonna do everything, because I'm gonna give you way too much, but you're gonna find the 2 or 3 things that are right for you, and that my hope is that like this afternoon, tomorrow, like it's something as simple as the text that I'm gonna show you, that you just do it. Because I've sat in meetings like this, I was in Atlanta, Georgia a couple weeks ago, and I just said, hey, you guys should send this text message out. And one gal, probably slightly ADD, which most great agents are, in case you're wondering, she just started sending the text messages out in the event and booked 7 listing appointments during my talk. That's awesome, yes or no? That's how fast this stuff works when you apply. All right, so with that said, ready? How's the market?
Great.
Oh, great. Great. Sorry, I'm from Southern California. All the real estate licenses on the back is a medical marijuana card. I would argue this pretty much summarizes the last, call it 36 months. When people say, how's the market? Right? It's like everybody's got a great plan until you get punched in the face. Anybody ever met Mike Tyson before? Mike Tyson's daughter used to play tennis with my younger son, who's a college athlete. And you have not lived until you've seen Mike Tyson in an all-white tennis outfit going, okay, let's play some tennis. I was like, okay, yes. Super great guy. But this is, if you know this television show, some would argue that winter is here, yes or no?
Yes.
And yeah, if you look at the Wall Street Journal piece that was just published a couple days ago, that shows the entire country in the last 12 months, where price is going up and where price is going down. Generally speaking, how's the New England marketplace right now? Right, prices are going up, right? You go down to southern New England, aka Florida, prices are really going up. You go to the west, right? I've got friends in Northern California that had 70, 80, 90% appreciation over the last 10 years that are now sitting at like 7 to 8%, 15% down on prices. So depending upon the marketplace that you're in, the price points that you're in, it's just a different market, yes or no? Show me on fingers how long you've been in the business. Show me on fingers.
Don't have enough fingers.
No, you can give me flashes, I understand. So 5 years, that looked like 20. 29, congrats. Anybody more than 29 years? Okay, anybody, okay. Everybody that is 15 years or more in the business, stand up. 15 years or more, stand up. Give these men and women a giant round of applause. Congrats. You can grab your seat. How many? 32. So you got it in 1990.
Yeah.
Right, so I got it in like 1989. Right, so right there, right? So how long? 32. And your son is 33. Congrats, buddy, by the way. That's great. Okay, how long am I there? 20. You feel like a youngling compared to these two? Right, that's awesome. How long? 15. Congrats. How long am I here? 40. Okay, all right, grab your seat. You don't tell me your name? Tell me your name? Althea? Althea, so think about 40 years ago what the contract was to buy a house. It was like one piece of paper. Right. Think about, remember MLS books? Exactly. And right, and now that's Zillow, the MLS book, right? So you've seen just a little bit of change in 40 years, yes? Can we just give her just a giant round of applause? Sitting right in the front row. Sitting right in the front row. Congratulations. I will do my best to not be horrible. All right, so here we go. So just take a look at this. Does any of this look remotely familiar? Rate hikes, right? Volatility. Everybody's asking you, how's the market, right? Right? How's the market? Now they're like, how's the market? Are you okay? But this is the interesting one. 60% of the agents right now that are active in real estate have never been in a market like this. They don't know. They weren't even around, Stacey, in 2018 in August when rates went from like 3.9 to almost like 4.9. And I watched people say, no one will ever buy a house again. And then they dropped back down and the whole world went nuts again. This is the interesting one. Most people, and Stacey was talking about it, their mindset's just been shaken by this environment. And it's not that really your mindset's off, it's just that some of them are just running the same plays in a different environment and wondering why it's not working anymore, right? Any of your kids play sports, yes or no? Any of you ever play sports? Here's my rule. If I'm running a play and it works and I keep scoring, I run it until the defense stops me. And what you have to realize is the market is defense. And if you're running things in your business and it's not working, it's not the market, it's you. You're the one that needs to adjust. So today's gonna be just a lot of plays. So let's start here. What are the top 3 for you problems you're trying to solve in your business? Write this down. What are the top 3 problems you're trying to solve? Top 3 problems you're trying to solve. Now I hope one of them is get more inventory, since that is the single biggest problem in real estate today around the US. What are the 2 to 3 biggest problems you're trying to solve? And the reason why I ask is, if Stacey, who I'm chatting with backstage, if you're listening through the filter of, yes, Stacey, right? If you're listening through the filter of what are the problems I'm trying to solve, then you're gonna hear answers to that. But if you just sit and listen to me, I'm gonna give you so many things to think about, you might end up not confused, but potentially overwhelmed. But if you're like, my number 1 problem is, I need to attract more listings. My number 2 problem is, I'm all over the board and I'm just not focused, I need to get more organized. If you listen through that filter, then all the ideas I present will be the right ideas for you. Does that make sense? So tell your neighbor, what are the top 3 problems you want to solve? Real quick, tell your neighbor, what are the top 3 things you want to solve? I recently surveyed a ton of our, let's just call it solo agents, non-teams. Doesn't mean they don't have an assistant. Maybe they're a 32-year-old son working with them in some capacity, but not the mega teams that we work with. Here's what they came up with. The number 1 thing was, I want to create more inventory, because the more inventory I have, the more I'm going to sell, right? And that's going to create a lot of profit. Number 2 was, I need consistent marketing and I need more attention. That the market is really noisy right now, and if everybody's offer is the same, I'm in trouble. And if I'm not putting enough offers in the marketplace, I'm not getting enough opportunities. So I've got to get more consistent marketing. Everybody said, improving my follow-up. Now do me a favor, just look at your buddy and say, you're horrible at this. No, say it, you have to tell your buddy, say it. Okay, yes, okay, you two, how old are you? Actually, this whole row, the 3 of you, how old are you? 30, you look like you're like 25, congratulations. Whoever your plastic surgeon is, it's working, right? So 36, I know, how old are you? 29, how old? 43, congratulations. What's in the water? That's awesome, all right, good genes. Everybody said across the board, improving what I'm saying to customers, right? That my language, my ability to handle objections, my ability to present my value has to be improved. And then the last one, nonstop, was I need to get more structure. That I'm bouncing around too much. Sometimes I'm focused, sometimes I'm not. By the way, how many of you are with Stacey's company? Raise your hands really high. Right? Her checklists are beautiful, yes or yes? Yeah. That if you just, and I'm like the biggest checklist freak, if you just follow the checklist, you sell a lot of houses. But if you find yourself drifting away from the checklist, what you need is more structure. You with me? Structure for me is like fulfilling all my promises. Saying I'm going to do something and I actually get it done. But the way I describe structure is, if you've ever taken your kids to a bowling alley, right? Until they put those little bumper things up, bowling with my kids was horrible. Because they would go, good or ball, this is stupid, where are we going? And I'm like, I've got 3 hours of babysitting time. But the second they put those bumpers up, bing, 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 they were off track most of the time, but the ball still ended up hitting some pins and we were winning. That's structure. So today we're going to talk about how do we get more structure so you actually follow through and do the things you say you're going to do. Now, when I asked them sort of in a word cloud, all right, so Jeff, what do you want to focus on? Across the board, I got back to the basics for people. Back to the basics. And then I say to people like veterans, like, what are the basics? And then I talked to newer agents. What are the basics? Are there more TikTok videos? I'm like, all right, sure, that's whatever. I'd love for you to consider, ready? Just play a game with me. I know some of you got things in your hands. Everybody go like this. Just show me you can do this. Now slow it down a tad. And then I want you to go like this, ready? Conversations, appointments. Conversations, appointments. I want to hear you.
Conversations, appointments. Conversations, appointments.
Move your mouth.
Conversations, appointments.
I see you over there. Okay. Okay, now look up here. Is that advanced or basic? Really? Then why does no one do it? No, you want to know why? Because it's advanced. It's actually advanced to be disciplined enough to call my past clients and fear on a regular basis. It's advanced to follow up on people. It's advanced to book appointments. It's advanced to say I'm not going home today until I get a listing appointment. That's advanced. Most people are just like, the most advanced thing they do during the day is like, what are we having for lunch? If you just shift your focus to every day my job is to have meaningful conversations with people, and that can happen anywhere, online or offline, and then schedule appointments. Because when you wake up on Monday and you look at your calendar, like we used to look at our calendar this way, and all you see is appointments, you're gonna have an unbelievable week. But when you open up your calendar, there's nothing there, you're like, drinking is a good idea, right? And it's 9 o'clock on Tuesday. So we're gonna get into all of it. All right, so I just love dogs, so that actually is nothing, I just like that photo. All right, let's keep moving. So how do you solve the problems that you have? Especially acknowledging that we are in a declining transaction environment. We'll do 4.5 million sales individual units this year, so call it 9 million transactions. 88% of those will be done with and in part with a real estate agent, the balance of iBuyers and for sale buyers and everything else. There's still an enormous amount of opportunity, but for context, the last time in the US we did 4.5 million transactions, like individual units sold, was 2012. That was the last time. But guess what? In 2012, guess how many real estate agents we had? 999,000. Guess how many we have today? 1.6 million. So we have more agents, less transactions, which means, to Stacey's point earlier, you have to do new and different things. So with that said, ready? If I was your coach, here's the first thing I would say to you. It's point number 0. You can tell that I personally do all of my own stuff on Instagram. Because I said, I'm sensing 3 types of agents, and then I put 4. My social media manager's just like, you're such a dumbass. I'm like, it doesn't matter, I'm having fun. But I got about 2,000 responses to this in the matter of like 12 hours, and it was, I'm just sensing 3 types of agents and team leaders right now. Which one is closest to you? 34% said hair on fire busy. I'm just so busy. Now, most of them, it doesn't mean that they're selling a truckload of houses. It could mean they don't use a virtual assistant, they don't use in-house transaction coordination, so they're just doing everything, so it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This group, right, this is the vast majority of the people I talk to. I just need to reset my focus. I'm doing too many things that don't work in this environment, I gotta make changes. Hey, I'm a little concerned about my future, it's a pretty big group, and then just feeling overwhelmed, like don't know where to start. So just for fun, tell everybody, which one of those do you closest identify with? Just tell everybody real quick. Johnny, which one? Time to reset your focus. Which one? Okay, which one? Reset the focus. Yeah, you got a whole bunch of, this is the entire front row is reset focus. They all have ADD, that's why they're in the front row. All right, so here's the thing. I believe in a concept called the J curve. So a friend of mine who's a professor at the University of Southern California, Dr. Jerry Jellison, came up with this concept of the J curve. And what he would basically say is, so right now, every one of you is sitting right here, right? And I say to you, how do you want to finish the year? And you say, I want to get up here to a desired state, right? I was having this conversation with a couple of you backstage. Like, where do you want to be, Gail? Where are you? Right? Where do you want to be at the end of the year? And Gail told me all the things she wants to do. The challenge is, in your current state, you have to acknowledge you are standing on the cliff of, oh my God, where's Tom Ferry? My son in the 4th grade, Daddy, what's WTF mean? I'm like, oh, that's where's Tom Ferry? Daddy, that's not what I heard. But that's what it means. It's like, true. See, here's what Dr. Jerry figured out. He said, look, we all want to go from here to here. The problem is, what do we know? You have to go through this in order to get there. You have to, like, ladies, ready? We want to have a baby. Did you go, we want to have a baby? Baby. Or did you go, oh my God, I'm pregnant. Oh my God, I have a living human being inside my baby or inside my body. I am so tired. Right about here's what my wife said, you did this to me. And then we start coming up here, we're going for walks every day. Get this thing out of me, and then 9 months later we have a baby. And then, oh, by the way, having babies is really easy, right? Then you start, as I lovingly say, the journey of having children. But you know what I discovered a long time ago? Having invested in 100+ companies, started multiple businesses, sold a lot of businesses, I figured out that that's quarter 1, that's quarter 2, that's quarter 3, and that's quarter 4. That I'm always going to be in a state where I'm intentionally putting myself into a period of disruption. Because in Q1, you wrote your plan last year and you said, hey, this year, I'm going to follow a schedule like this. I'm going to do these kind of calls. I'm going to be consistent with all this stuff. And you sat there on that cliff until it was the first time to do it all. Now, some of you just plateaued and you never made the adjustment. So the hard truth about the hard truth is, you have to go through the period of disruption to get to the next level. There is no going to the, who's ever gone to the gym before? You just say, well, I bought the outfit, how come I'm not in better shape? No, you had to go do cardio, you had to eat better. You had to make those hard changes. Does that make sense? All right, so just for fun, tell your buddy, I'm just curious. Are you right here right now? Did you start a bunch of new endeavors and you're already here? You started last January, you're now here. Just tell everybody, where are you right now in the J curve? Just tell everybody, where do you feel your business is? Where are you at? Here? Okay. Bingo. That's exactly it. Okay, now, so Jeff, so here's the thing, everybody. Shh. Even something as simple as I'm going to say to you, here's a text you can send to clients. You're right here. Right? Every one of you, this is what I know after like 75,000 hours of coaching, barely getting through high school. I went to like 5 high schools. Like, family didn't move around. They moved me around like I was that kid. But you start to figure out that every single human being goes through all the same stuff. Some of these things, like sending a text message, will put some of you in a state of shock. Like you're 6 moves from death and dying. I'm like, you should send these texts. You're like, what if I send that text and they don't like it? If they don't like it, they're going to reject me. If they reject me, I'm going to really feel horrible. If I feel horrible, I'm not going to make any money. If I don't make any money, I can't eat. If I don't eat, I'm going to die. And I was like, all I said was send a text message. But that's what the human mind does. So the quicker you can jump off that cliff, the faster you get out of it. And this could be everything from direct mail to email to a new script to trying a new schedule to going back to Stacy's checklist. We're always going through the J curve. So just remember, when you're starting, it's always hard in the beginning, but then you get momentum and you end up over here going, oh, that was a really good idea. Make sense? All right, so let's keep jamming. All right. Click, click, click. So if you're going to reset, and I bet most of you aren't since it's really still the beginning of quarter 2, and who cares what you did in the first quarter, it only matters what we do now. The thing I remind people of, it was actually a very famous Buddhist quote. Buddha said, the cancers of love are comparing, criticizing, and complaining. I changed it to the cancers of growth. The cancers of growth, if I'm constantly comparing today's business to the pandemic environment, if I'm constantly criticizing clients, the government, the interest rates, if I'm in this state, there is no joy, there is no growth, there is no happiness, there's just criticism. But if I'm complaining, how many of you know an agent that just bitches all the time? Okay, are they sitting in your chair? Smack yourself if that is you. Because we all know the complainers complain about the market, buyers are liars, it's impossible, writing offers are not getting accepted. right? There's no growth in that. There's only pain and suffering. So the more you can say, no one gives a shit how I feel, move forward, the better you will be in life. So a little just, psychology 101. So there's no growth in comparing criticism or complaint. We have to just say, I'm responsible. If everything's horrible, it's all on me. Make sense? Right? Doesn't matter who the next president is. Doesn't matter who the last president is. None of that shit matters, right or wrong, guys. Because last time I checked, housing is still in vogue. And it always will be, which puts all of you in a wonderful position forever. All right, so major point number one is, if you want to dominate, you can't have more than 3 business goals. No more than 3 business goals. Now, I know you all wrote your plan that last year, and I know you look at it all the time, Pinocchio, right? So we're going to do this together, ready? So I'm going to say to you, everything needs to be measured, which we'll get to in a sec. If you read any one of these 3 books, and say, I'm sure you read all these books, this is the one I've been the most obsessed with forever, this is most of the CEOs that I work with, this is what we follow. All 3 books say the same exact thing. No more than 3 goals, know the numbers required to get there, scoreboard everything to know, am I on track or off track, am I winning or am I losing, and have a regular cadence of meetings to discuss how we're doing. This one says the same thing, this is more small business, this is big business, and this is tech companies. They all say the same exact thing. You cannot have more than 3 goals. 1, 2, 3, too many. Does that make sense? So with that said, I tell people all the time, if I was your coach, I would literally say to you, probably it should be one of these 3. Probably it should be one of these 3, because some are lead measures and some are lag measures. I'm going to make the argument that first and foremost, I don't care what your volume is, your transactions, or your GCI. That's the only thing I care about. Because I've met with way too many agents in my 30 plus years that say, oh, I'm from Beverly Hills, I'm number 1. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. What'd you gross last year? Oh, our GCI last year, we did $10 million in commissions. That's awesome. How much money after taxes? Oh. No money after taxes. And then you have to start with, did you pay your taxes? The only thing that matters is right here, yes or no, guys. Sell 1 big one, sell 1,000 little ones, I don't care. How much money did you put aside? How much debt did you pay off? How much did you invest? How much did you put aside for a rainy day? That's the only thing that matters, because real estate's like this, yes or no, guys? Right? Especially when you're in the Northeast, it's more cyclical than, say, in the West or down in the South. The second thing is, the only thing that matters is, are you getting business opportunities generated? Are you getting opportunities coming in, inbound, outbound, every single day? Because this game, always and forever, conversations and appointments. But this is my all-time favorite one. A bold number of appointments, the number of listing appointments you want between now and the end of the year. I promise you, how many of you know an agent that every time they sell a house, you think to yourself, shit, if they can do it. Do you all know what I'm talking about? And I work with such a wide variety. I have clients all over the world. Like the number 1 team in Jerusalem is my client, right? The number 1 agent in Munich, Germany, John McGraw, who's the number 1 team in all of Sydney, Australia. Like all over the world, we have these customers. Everyone understands one thing. Whoever goes on the most appointments wins. And even a lousy appointment is better than no appointments. Make sense? So I would challenge you now, again, I'm going to say to you, what are your top 3 goals? So write them down. Now, these are just examples. These are just examples. But this is a post I put out recently. The second quarter doesn't care about your first quarter results. You've got to have a clean slate, set your goals, and get after it. So if you can only have 3 things to accomplish just in the next quarter, just between now and July 1st, what are the 3 most important things you want to accomplish? Write them down right now. Now, don't say get organized, because you're a real estate agent and you never will. I'm dead serious. You'll get organized when you hire an organized assistant. What are the 3 most important things? Don't say follow my checklist, right? Because that's an activity. I want to know, what are the results you want to produce? What if you said, I want $100,000 in my savings after taxes at the end of the quarter? After taxes. That would be good. What if you failed miserably and only got to 89? You're like, screw Tom Ferry. What if you said, hey, in the second quarter, since the spring market is officially here, I want to go on, I'm just going to give you a crazy number, 35, 72, 102 listing appointments in the second quarter? What if you failed miserably and only got to half that? But that half is 3 times the amount you did this time last year. The second you put a number up, like you had to play sports in some way, yes? Okay, what happens with the scoreboard? When you go like this, oh man, we only have 2 minutes left. I'm a huge NBA fan. My all-time favorite is the last 2 minutes, 80 to 80, like that's when the game begins. And there's just something about that clock going tick, 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 because every second matters. Same exact thing in your business, right? I want to get here in the second quarter. I got this much time. There is no delay. If I wait, I'm screwed. I've got to crush the first month. I got to crush the second month. I got to crush. And then you finish and you celebrate and you reset again. Does that make sense? Because most of us can't keep our concentration for a year. Most of us can't keep it for a day. So, scoreboard, everything. All right, let's keep jamming. Ready? I also think you should have 3 primary goals for your personal life. What are 3 things you want to accomplish? How many of you are married? Okay, this is the little Italian I married from not too far. Her family's from Revia. So we'll be married 30 years in October. I've married her 3 times and never been divorced. I piss off all of my friends, right? Because I'll just randomly ask her to marry me again, like in front of my kids, and then we photo it like crazy, and then all my buddies are like, dick, jerk, asshole. I'm like, well, maybe you should get back to romance, bro. Like, it's not my fault, right? So do you have a relationship goal? Do you have a health and vitality goal, right? Do you have a spiritual goal? Do you have a savings goal? Something that's more than just the work, right? It's the yin to the yang, right? We have the business side and then the personal side. So write down for you, this is a workshop. What are the 3 things you want to accomplish in the second quarter for you personally? I want to learn how to turn my phone off. I'm busting my chops. I have to learn how to turn my phone on. I turn the ringer off, like as soon as I get a new phone, so it never rings. I love it. All right, so what are you gonna do? You got 3 goals? Getting close? And by the way, if your goal is vague, you won't get it. If your goal is specific, I want to lose 10 pounds by July 1st. I want to save this much money. I want to buy an investment property by the end of July 1st, right? I want to, rekindle my relationship. Here's the fun one. Have all the males in the room, raise your hands. This is not a trick. I know you used to, this is now a trick question. I get it. And you have no idea. So much fun. All the people that identify as a male in the room, raise your hands. So what if, I'm just assuming you got a significant other, what if for the next 12 weeks you said, I'm going to do something every single week that has my spouse understand how much I appreciate them, how much I love them, how much compassion I have for them. You would be on this, but you can't just say, I love you. I did that with a buddy of mine for 1 straight year, right? And about 6 weeks in, my wife's like, okay, what's going on? What is this? Do you have some accountability? I'm like, yes. She's like, I love it. I just have to know what was going on. But what if you did something like that? Right? What if? All right, so let's keep jamming. Ready? Now the next part of this is, all these goals have got to be up and visual. All these goals have to be up and visual. So if I ever went to your home, I would walk right into your master bedroom, probably right into your master bathroom, and I would look for, is everything up and visual on the bathroom mirror? I live in Dallas in a high-rise on the 39th floor. The entire looking out to North Dallas is this big, giant glass window. All of my wife and I's goals for the quarter are right there up and visual. So every day in the shower, every day in the bathroom, every day we see exactly what it is we're committed to. And it's a little bit of like structure and accountability for the 2 of us. And then my sons, when they're there, they'll walk into it, so they know what's going on, right? It's just creating the structure, because if you have goals and you hide it in a yellow notepad, or they're only up here, I promise you, since we started with your head's a scary place to be, you can't just have your goals up here. Now, it could look something like this. So this is one of my clients, Jamie. She runs a small brokerage down in Katy, Texas. So look at her number 1 goal is profitability of 35%. Her number 2 goal is list 500 homes, and her number 3 goal is add 48 agents. So every time I'm talking to her, she's standing right here with her husband, and I'm saying, okay, where are we at? How are we doing? What's going on? And everyone that walks by her office, which is an all-glass window, this is the first thing that everybody in the company sees. Everybody knows what she's committed to. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Now, I promise you, not in this organization, but in other organizations, if you did this, someone's going to go, oh, did you get it with Tom Ferry? Someone's going to do that. You with me? It happens, right? It's unfortunate. But the other alternative is something like this. Right? So here's he's a coach for us and a longtime client, Jason Ferris. So Jason realized, hey, I'm buyer dominant. And over a 5-year period, he went from being buyer dominant to listing dominant. And it really crescendoed one year when he said, I'm going to go on 225 listing appointments. And he failed miserably. He only booked 205. Suicide was probably the only option. What do you guys think? Right? From like 5 years prior, he was, he'd go on like 10 listing appointments, and he was just super buyer dominant. He was buying online leads for buyers, right? He had 17 canceled, went on 188, listed 143, like this monster year for him, lost 7, and at 38, they were in various stages of follow-up. But the second he put that up inside the office, everybody knew what he was committed to. And there's always going to be one negative Nelly. It doesn't matter, the best companies on the planet still have one negative Nelly. Like, you're off track. Sometimes that's all we need. Is anybody in the room competitive? Some of you are so competitive, you won't even raise your hand. You're like, you didn't even see it, I'm that fast. Some of us, we're just so competitive, we need the negative Nelly to go, and I'm gonna hit like 10 listing appointments just to piss you off, right? Like, that's okay too. But is everybody clear? Everything has to be up and visual. Everything has to be tracked and measured so you know exactly where you stand, right? Like, my son played football all through high school. One time the scoreboard went off and it was like, just like 22 kids just pounding into each other. There was no more, because we didn't know how much time was left. Everybody lost track of the score. What down is it? We were all super confused. That's what happens when you don't have this stuff up in visual. You get confused, you don't know what to focus on, you just fall into the mundane of real estate. So is everybody clear on that? Promise you're gonna do it, yes or no? Okay, I can't hear you. Yes. All right, so let's keep moving. Read that out loud. Now, if you know where the actual source of this, ladies, did you just arrive? Okay, don't worry, we'll start over. Let me go back to the very beginning. I'm kidding. You missed all the stuff on time management, don't worry. Hi, I'm Tom. She's like, we already don't like this stuff. All right. The source of truth for this, Stacey, was actually Achilles, right? Some would call Greek god, others would say like the greatest, sort of Greek athlete or warrior. He said, we always fall back to our training. But it was only later on, a guy named James Clear wrote a wonderful book called Atomic Habits. Anybody? Right? Unbelievable book. James said, we all fall back to our systems, our structure, and our standards. So don't blame the market, blame the lack of structure, blame the lack of standards, blame the systems, and then do something about it. All right, let's go to major point number 2. So the only thing that matters is conversations and appointments. The only thing that matters is conversations and appointments. I'm not telling you to cold call. I'm telling you to actually just call your phone, the people that are in your database. If you just started there, then we'll look at a whole bunch of different ways you can add more, but it's all there, my friends. Now, here's my belief. We all have 168 hours in a week, yes? Now, hopefully you'll sleep for 8 hours, but most of you sleep for 4, and it looks like this, like every 3 hours, the deal's falling apart. Oh my God, right? So we have 168 hours in a week, and what I would typically say to people is, you need to tell me in 168 hours you can't find 2 listing appointments? So if you slept 8, you got 56 hours out of the way, you still got like 112 hours. In 112 hours, you can't find 2 listing appointments? What in the world are you doing all day long? That's how I talk to my personal clients. And then some of them get really mad at me. You know what they do? They start booking 2 listing appointments a week. And guess what happens when you have 2 listing appointments a week? You're probably going to list at least one of them. And in this market, in your market, you list one, it sells. Yes or yes? Make sense? It's not rocket science. It's simplification. It's get the noise out of the way. Get all the complicated stuff out of the way. And what do I have to do to get 2 listing appointments? We're going to go through all of that. But I basically describe it like this now. Oops, sorry. I say, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it, but read that out loud, please. Okay, do me a favor, just turn to your buddy and say, I don't care how you feel. Oh, I love the added really. I really don't care. Now, does anybody have context for who that is? Okay, so Timmy's a friend of mine. Timmy was the personal trainer of a guy named Michael Jordan, and then took on Kobe Bryant, and then Dwayne Wade, and so many others. And what makes this guy so unique, so special, is he's like, I don't care how you feel. Do you want to get the results? He's like, but if you buy into your feelings, look at, does anybody in this room ever wake up on a Sunday and go, oh, I need an open house today? No. But you're like, I got an open house today. Right? I got to get myself mentally right, emotionally right. I got to go do this, right? But if you bought into your feelings, none of you would even be here this morning. You'd still be laying in bed. So the faster you can say, we all have a little reptilian mind in the back of here that's constantly saying, I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to struggle. I don't want things to be hard for you. I find myself every day going, shut up. I can't listen to that because I can't do all the things I do in my life, nor can any of you if you buy into that nonsense. Because your feelings are not your friends. Your feelings are just this little self-protection thing that every human being has. So basically, screw your feelings. All right, so you know what's working right now? All my clients know this. You know what's really working? I get asked all the time on Instagram. Hey, what's working right now? I'm like, oh, you want to know what's working? Working. Working is really in right now. It's super vogue. And I'm not saying you didn't work hard during the pandemic. I know you did, but it was different work, yes or no? It was, what's your marketing plan? Enter. 27 offers, right? But that was also stressful, yes or no? And being up in this part, I was living in Texas, where like people were like, bang, 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 no mask, pandemic, ah, right? I was like coming from California, I'm like, okay, this is weird. All right. But here's the thing. Selling houses in hazmat suits was also hard, yes or no? Right? Wiping everything down was hard, yes or no? So it's all hard. Do you guys get that? It's all hard. All right, let's keep jamming. All right, you're gonna hate this. So these are two of my clients. They were a little indie brokerage down in Jacksonville, Florida. 3,100 transactions last year, right? His hair is way longer now. I gotta get a new photo. I was actually the officiant at their wedding too. So business coach, right, from the very beginning to, I remember like on a coaching session going, we're on Zoom, I'm like, you guys are sleeping together. And they were like, oh, you're definitely sleeping together. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, we don't want to tell anybody. I go, the sexual tension is so obvious. I'm like, I may be stupid, but like, come on. And then like literally a year later, they're like, will you marry us? I'm like, that would be weird, but I think you're asking, will I officiate the wedding? Yes, I will officiate the wedding, but no, I will not marry you. That would be strange. But get this, this little meteoric rise really came because they understood one thing. That most of you, watch this guys, here's the state. I'm gonna show it to you a couple different ways, and some of you, you're gonna love it, and some of you are gonna throw up. So watch this. Well, what we know, the reason why most people fail to make the money that they want is only 8% of the people that you meet inside of 30 days will sign a contract with you. Only 8%. 27% will do something in month 2 and 3, and then it goes to 33%. So more people do it in month 4 through 6 than do in the very beginning. And then 22%, 7 to 12, and then another 10% from like call it month 13 on. Now here's the bummer. Most agents quit after 90 days. Now I've had some really good agents say, what are you talking about? I quit right here. And the 8% is great, but all the money is in the long-term nurture. Yes or no, guys? All the money is in right now going back to every person we met during the pandemic that wanted to buy a house, that didn't buy a house, that wrote 5 or 6 offers, that said, we're gonna put our home on the market when we can finally find a place, and they just felt they couldn't. You have all those opportunities, but if you lost touch, I'm gonna show you what to say to get them back engaged with you, but that's where all the action is. So do you have the structure in place to follow up with every one of those customers all the way till the end? Do you celebrate when you sell, like internally, like, oh my God, hey, that person just bought a house. How long have I been nurturing? 14 months. We celebrate that. Does that make sense? Like that is like, oh, badge of honor. That's how good you are. That's how caring you are. That's how structured you are to follow at that level. But I'm going to show it to you differently. So some of you need more graph-oriented. So the timeline and effort to convert leads is way longer and loftier than what most teams or individuals expect. So here we are at 0. It's about the 115-day mark where most transactions occur. The 115-day mark. And the real money of conversion, this is like 13.7% conversion of all the leads that we generate, happens out here. Just another way of viewing it. Now, that's every lead source. Take a look at this. So this is one particular client of mine who's down in Houston. I mentioned I showed you her team earlier. So look at this. So all leads, HAR, that's the Houston Association of Realtors. Those are people that actually go to like the MLS of your association. Those people have very high intent and they convert. HomeLight Market VIP, which is like Realtor.com's VIP package. OpCity, Realtor.com, Veterans United, Zillow. Right? This, by the way, every time I show this, Zillow gets very upset because they have the lowest conversion compared to everybody else. They have the most traffic on their website than anybody else, but you can clearly see it varies by lead source, yes or no. Now, if I put past clients in Sphere, guess where it is? Past clients in Sphere is way up here. You guys with me? But see, here's the thing. It's probably down here for most of you because you don't connect with them enough. You don't market to your database enough, so you just get what you get. So we're going to solve that. Now, watch this. We took a look at, I'm going to show it to you this way. This, do you guys know there's a company called Amazon? Yes? Familiar? So Amazon does what's called an Amazon Turk. An Amazon Turk is basically a really extensive way of viewing your business to figure out what's working and what's not. So you don't need to do that. But what you should do, write this in your notes, ready? Take your entire database, send it to your local title rep, right? Closing attorney, title rep, and say, scrub my entire database and let me know who's bought and sold in the last 2 years. None of you will want to do this assignment. So here's what you're looking at. So this was just one 90-day cohort of leads, one 90-day, so meaning all the leads that came in 1 quarter, going back to this conversation, right? Not including past clients in Sphere, just the leads that they were acquiring. We said, let's just take a look. You know, John got 235, Christine got 261. Alex is the team leader who took all the leads from all of the team, Joan, Shannon, Cal, Matt, and they said this lead is crap. This lead is bad. You guys with me on this? Like somehow a person that would put their name and cell phone and email into a system and say, I'd like to talk to an agent is bad. Think about that. By the way, they sold from that 90-day period 91 properties. Is that good? Right? Okay, 4,416 leads, sold 91, that's a 2.1% conversion. 2,090 of the leads went into Alex's account as bad leads. We ran the entire thing through the title records. They sold 4,416 leads, 91 houses. 419 buyers and sellers did a transaction with someone else. Does everybody get the formula? So they got 1 and everybody else got 4 more. They essentially converted 1 out of 5 on the same cohort of 4,416 inquiries. Someone else sold all those houses. If you were the team leader, would you be pissed, yes or no? Okay, do me a favor, look at your buddy and say, you should be pissed at yourself. Now, I don't want you to be pissed at yourself. And I'm sorry I'm even saying the word pissed. What I want you to understand is, I want to go back to this. Does everybody get it? Does everybody get it?
Yes.
You stop following up and you say, Well, I don't want to be a nuisance, or I'm too busy, or I'm working on this file, or I got this deal that's going sideways, or my kid's getting, or my spouse is, or I am, or goodness, it's October, my family's coming to town for Thanksgiving, I gotta start getting the house ready. In any one of those moments when you stop nurturing and following up and doing what I recommend, you're basically saying, I'm okay getting one sale and having somebody else handle the other 4. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay, do me a favor. Look your buddy right in the eye and say, he is so talking to you right now. Johnny, does that make sense? All right, so let's keep jamming. You ready? So what am I really saying? What am I really saying? Play a game with me. Look your buddy right in the eye and say, stop following up. Say it. Say, stop following up. That's what I'm saying. Now let me explain before you say, wait a minute, that sounds stupid. What I'm really telling you is, you need to change your schedule to line up with high conversion. You need to change your schedule to line up with high conversion. You need to change your schedule to line. Now, I'm not saying this is your verbatim timing and all that stuff, but the components in here, Matthew, need to be in place. I probably should follow up with every new lead that I got, past client referral, open house, I don't care, the day after I got it, first thing in the morning. Because the likelihood of you sending them a text at 8:15 in the morning and starting a conversation is higher, right, if I missed them the day before. You probably should have from like 9 to 11 every day, so every study shows between 9 and 11 and 4 and 6. 9 and 11 and 4 and 6 are the highest probability times during the day to send somebody a text, to send an email, to make a phone call, to have a meaningful conversation. So you can see, I'm like, hey, from 9 to 11, have conversations and set appointments. Right? That should just be in my calendar every day. And then, training, staff meetings, working lunch, right? Personal time, errands, yada, yada, yada. 3 to 6 should be on appointments. Probably should have some afternoon follow-up as well. Does that make sense? Now, doesn't that sound hard? You know what's hard? Knowing that for every 1 you sold, you lost 4. Like, that should piss every one of you off. When I did this exercise with my client, Jamie, we were on Zoom, and I'm like, hey, I just got the results. Want to see it? She's like, not really. Now, she runs. They'll do 700 transactions, $14 million in commissions out of her teamerage. She owns her program, but she runs it as a team. $14 million in commissions. And she's like, I can figure out very quickly, I lost $49 million minimum. Who was really pissed? Her husband, Nate. He was like, Jamie, what the heck? Because that just gets them 1 step closer to retirement. Does that make sense? Now, I know those numbers are astronomical, but if you made 200, that means there was $1 million in commissions in the leads that you generated, but because you didn't follow up, the math is the math is the math. You can say, hey, maybe I would have only gotten 2 out of 5. Maybe I would have only gotten 3 out of 5. Okay, so you went from 2 to making 4, 2 to making 6. You lost 2 or 4. Like, that hurts, yes or no? Okay, so stop chasing. Ready? Stop following up. Stop checking in. Instead, what if every lead you met from today on, you said something like this? I bet you're a lot like me and you work from a calendar. Who says no to that? How many of you know someone besides my wife that does not work from a calendar? My wife does not work from a calendar. But if you said to my wife, I bet you're a lot like me and you work from a calendar, she would say, of course. She has 7,000 yellow stickies everywhere. That's her calendar. My wife on a regular basis does this. She'll like, what are we doing for dinner tonight, honey? She's like, oh, I don't know, no plans. Why don't we DoorDash or something? And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And then all of a sudden she'll go, oh, we're supposed to be in the laundry right now. We're having dinner with the Joneses. That's how my wife operates. But if you said, I bet you're a lot like me and you work from a calendar, guess what she would say? Of course. Or you could say, hey, the fact that we're both busy people. The fact that we're both busy people, and then I say, you guys want to start buying a house, or you guys want to start the process of moving after school comes back, like in September, like just whatever their time frame is. I'm then going to say to you as a buyer, let's pencil in a time to touch base and get caught up in the market, interest rates, recent sales, in half the time frame. In half the time frame. So if you guys want to start the process in September, let's get together in July. Do you guys want to go in the beginning or end of July? Which is better for you?
Well, we want to do like the beginning. Well, that's the 4th of July. Do you want to do it after 4th of July? Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, cool. So morning or afternoon, pick a day, morning or afternoon, and then literally what you know what you do? You send them a calendar invitation. Now, ladies in the room, ladies, help me out here. You wake up on a Tuesday and you're like, oh, I gotta wash the gray out of my hair and I need a haircut. You just call your hairdresser and say, I'm available at 3 today, I'll be coming by. What would your hairdresser do? First of all, they're not going to answer the phone. You're gonna get a voicemail that says, hi, I'm scheduled out for the balance of the year. Go to this app and see if you can find an opening, good luck. My wife says, oh, I would never do that. I schedule every time when I'm there, my next hair appointment. And I'm like, isn't that interesting? We do that for our hair, but most people struggle to do it with someone that wants to buy a $500,000 house from you where you're gonna make $12,000, $15,000, $18,000. So instead, what am I saying? You're not going to pre-book a follow-up discussion. I'm not gonna chase you. We're gonna schedule another meeting to have a conversation. Same thing on the seller side. I bet you're a lot like me, you work from a calendar, right? And since you guys wanna start the process in the fall, let's pencil in the time to start our pre-selling session in half the time frame. So let's pick this month, beginning or end, beginning of the week or end of the week, morning or afternoon. And the best thing you can say is morning or afternoon. They go afternoon on Thursday, and you go, I've got a 1 o'clock, a 2 o'clock, and a 4 o'clock. Can you guys do 3 or is 5 o'clock better? What does that now tell the client about you? You're a professional. You're busy. But if you're like, oh, that's perfect, because I'm free all day. Matter of fact, that whole week, I'm available. What does that also tell them about you? So Johnny, here's what's happening. I'm getting clients to start to do this. And now what happens is they wake up on Monday and they have 5 to 6 appointments on Tuesday, 2 appointments on Wednesday, 3 appointments on Thursday. You know who the person is, they're inside your CRM, you know the details, you know why you're following up, you know what the conversation is. And now watch this. You book this with you book an appointment with your doctor. What does your doctor do the day before? What do you get? What do you get? You get, hey, you're scheduled for 3 o'clock with Dr. Jones. Please hit 1 if you have to reschedule. Now, I would go one step further with all of you. And this is, I'll tell you what my team does. My team goes like this. Hey, it's Karen with Tom Ferry. We have a 3 o'clock tomorrow. I've already put together an agenda for our time together. It's attached in the video below. Please review the agenda. If for any reason you need to reschedule, my time is as important as yours. Please let me know. And they set the time. And they include the agenda. The agenda could be update on the market, update on what's selling recently, what's going on with prices, how are mortgage interest rates impacting purchasers, who's moving in, who's like anything that you would want to discuss with that buyer and seller in a video the day before. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yes. Are you going to do it? So 4 of you, that's good. My friends, most of you don't need any more leads. All you need to do is have more structure to convert. All this is a structure, bless you, for high conversion. All right, let's keep jamming. I'm only on point number 2. So we know that one. Let's talk about adding additional listing attraction. So actually, before we do that, any questions about this? Any questions? Did you guys take a photo of it? I'm gonna give you all the slides. You're never gonna look at that photo, I promise you. Okay, any questions? So you're all gonna do it, yes? Starting from today forward, you're not gonna say, oh, you guys wanna do something in a year? Okay, great, I'll follow up then. Because you know that's hey, why don't we touch base every 2 months? Because you've never had a client lie to you before, have you? And you've never had a client's circumstances change, have you? Have you ever sold somebody their dream house and they're like, oh my God, we love it. This is the street, this is the community. Oh my God, they're gonna take us out in a pine box and like 2 years later they sell the house? How about a year later? Anybody? How about like a lot of people that bought a house during the pandemic? Okay, so let's be clear, circumstances change. Now, with that said, tell your buddy how many people you have on your phone right now. If you have an iPhone, just grab your phone, go down to the very bottom, hit the pound sign, there should be a number. If you have a Droid, get an iPhone. Sorry, I don't care, just
Just go to the very bottom. Johnny, scroll down to the very bottom of your contacts and it'll tell you how many people you have in your phone. Johnny, if you go to the right side, it's A through Z. Hit the pound sign, it takes you right to the bottom. Do you have a drawing?
No.
Oh, you're gonna love me and hate me. Yeah. Now, so yell out loud. How many people do you have on your phone? How many? Somebody say that again. How many? I heard like 18 something. 1857. You're gonna hate this. Okay. How many? Oh my God, you are gonna be in hell. If you would have asked me before the pandemic, I would say to you, 10% of every person in your phone is going to have a life-altering change, and they're going to buy or sell. Today, because of interest rates and the fact that 63% of every home in America that has a mortgage on it, the interest rate, it starts at 3.9 and goes down, those people, it has to be a little more drastic for them to trade up. They still are. And we all know that 38% of every home in America has no mortgage at all. You guys know that, right? 38% of all homes in America have no mortgage at all, which, by the way, it's easier for them to trade than it is to the person like me in Dallas. I've got a 2.125 interest rate on my apartment in Dallas. You follow me? Like, that's free money. So what, well, I'll explain. You ready? So the 5% rule, figure out right now, 5% of your phone's gonna move. So how many listings do you have in your phone right now? Do 10% because it's easy and then just cut it in half. Okay, well, what if a bunch of them are real estate agents? Remove them, not from your phone, take them out of the equation. Take them out of the equation. But agent-agent referrals, right? Agent-agent referrals are a big part. So if they're outside of the marketplace, you should also be in touch with them because they're in your database. So, Jeff, how many listings do you have on your phone right now? Okay, so you can still refer other people and you will get more mortgages. So how many people on your phone? About 9,500. So let's just round it up to 10 for easy math. You have 1,000 listings in your phone. Now, are most of them real estate agents? A big percentage of them? Okay, and all over the country. By the way, if you were referring potential sellers all over the country, do you think you would get like more mortgages back? 1,000%, right? So same rules apply, right? How many you got in your phone? 3,500. So 350, 175. There's 175 sellers sitting in your phone. Now, are they all going to call you on Tuesday? No. Are any of them going to call you? Maybe. Should we remove maybe from the equation? Yeah. So let's jam. You ready? So what drives the market? Always and forever. What drives the market? Okay, thank you very much. When circumstances change. When circumstances change, everything changes. So we call it the 7 Ds. You've seen this before. It's all of those. This is my favorite one. D, relocation. I just wanted to stay with the Ds. Right? So diapers. Oh my God, we're in too small of a, we need to, or we want to get next to this school, right? That changes. Death, tragic, it happens. I'm going to show you the slide in a minute. It happens all the time. Hey, we just got married. Sometimes that's 2 listings and a new purchase. So that's always good. Divorce. I used to live in a town called Newport Beach, California. Anybody? Anybody know where that is? Southern California? What if I told you the divorce rate in my town was 78%? 78. People are like, why'd you leave? I'm like, that. And me and all my little posse, Stacy, we've all been married 25, 28, 30 years. But I got one of my buddies who's like he gets a flat tire, gets a new wife, right? So he's like, I'm getting married again. And I was like, Steve or lease, the same. Some of you will get that later. Diplomas, right? Just graduated. My son's like, hey, I'm moving to New York. I need a place. Should we buy something? What are we going to do? Defaults, small percentage, but 200,000 a quarter. 200,000 a quarter minus 2007, 8, 9, 10 for the last 24 years, right? And then this happens all the time. If you're in Atlanta, Georgia, the average person lives in Atlanta for 4 years. They move in, they work with Coca-Cola, Delta, and then they leave. Now, I will tell you, circumstances also change when you get a dog.
Guess what's happening on Thursday? Duke the Dallas dog, that little sweetheart, is being delivered to my house. No, I'm in hell. I live on the 39th floor of a high-rise. My wife's like, she's like, we found the dog. I was like, you're like, that's great, honey. I'm so excited we're getting a dog. Actually, I said to her, let's co-parent the dog with my assistant. It's not that I don't love animals. I live on the 39th floor. She said, you know what we should do? And I'm like, what? She's like, we should go get a house. I'm like, for a dog. Because she wants to open the sliding glass door and have the dog go in the backyard. If the dog goes onto the backyard, my neighbor gets urine delivered into their apartment. My wife's like, we're buying a house. Guess what I'm more than likely going to do? My circumstances have changed. Does that make sense? You just never know, right? Oh, but this is where it gets interesting. So, circumstances change, generational cohorts at a glance. So, because I'm here and he's not too far, that's my Uncle Frank. I was with him September 30th, which was the last day he was 99. So he turned 100. He lives in Somerville. Anybody? Yeah. Right, Somerville. Bought his house, he and Addie, right after World War II for like $14. I think the dirt is worth $1.2 million now, right? Completely nuts. He's 100 years old. Notice there is not many in this category. Now, by the way, just in fairness, he is the last survivor of the 101st Airborne Division, right, to paratroop in on D-Day. So I took my two boys, I mean, listen, Frank is like, he's like a mentor, right? Took my two boys to just hang out with him on the last day he was 99. And, you know, at 99, like, he's still got pep in the step, but he's got his little walker. But, like, my son's like, hey, can you show us the medals? And he walked us through D-Day, Market Garden. He fought in Battle of the Bulge. Oh, man, I get, like, just goosebumps whenever you can see it. It's just nuts. And the shrapnel that he got hit with, and when he said, hey, you're healed up. We can send you back. You've got enough purple stars. His response was, I'm not leaving my guys. Send me back. Like, that was a badass generation, yes or no? Yes. The tragedy is, and any veteran in the room, you know, right? Unbelievable. My older son is graduating with a history degree during that era. So you can only imagine, he was just like, Uncle Frank, tell me everything, right? Like, and he could like almost go story for story with him. It's incredible. But this is the reality. Now, I'm going to make the argument when we go through listing attraction before I'm done, that you start thinking about how do I market intelligently to every person in my area who's 69 years or older, who probably has no mortgage and they're living in a 2-story house. Hard to argue that they are the most likely to put their home on the market, and I'll give you guys a little pro tip just while we're on it. What if I told you one of my clients, she's the Queen of Queens, New York. Her name is Maureen Fallon. Maureen, after hearing me talk about it for 3 years for a couple of my coaching clients, Gail, listen up. For 3 years, Maureen goes, you know, in my marketplace, the typical homeowner is 65 years old. They've been in Queens, New York forever. Tom has been telling me I should be doing seminars for people in my area about how to get your home on the market and sell. So Stacey, she started in January. She did 2, right? Had 12 people each. She did it at her office, just through direct mail, just to her geographic farm community. Want to learn what it takes to get your home prepared to sell. Want to learn about the taxes in New York, right? Like all the different things that she's been talking about. She gets 24 people to show up in January. She takes February off. She does another 24, 2 more events in March. So now she's had 48 people through, 5 listings taken already. 5, no. Now Maureen will list 160, 170 homes this year, right? Geographic farmer, past Lansing Sphere. She's the Queen of Queens, right? Like she's been in the marketplace, took over the business from her mom, like long legacy of their last name in the marketplace. So not a shocker, but she's a hard worker, right? She's got 4 kids. They go to 2 different schools. Both schools are farms. I mean, like she's like one of those kind of gals. Just cremates it. But all of a sudden now, the people that would not normally ever invite her to come talk to her at the house are showing up for a lunch meeting. They serve a little food, and she says all the actions in the Q&A. She walks them through, by the way, all the slides are gonna be inside a loom, right? We just did a session on this. It's all gonna be in a loom, so you'll see her entire presentation, so you can just steal it. Cut her head off, put yours on, and go. You with me? But what she realizes is this is the biggest opportunity in her marketplace. And where do most of us put our concentration? Right here, on the first-time buyers. Now, I'm saying do both. Does that make sense? Have more lines in the water, more nets, more opportunity, especially like for a mother-son team where you've got the generational advantage, right? Like we work with all like Carol Garrison, 78 years old, Janelle, right? The daughter was the CEO of the team, $5 million a year, little mom and son, daughter, and mom. They cremated because George is all finance, Janelle is first-time buyers, first-time sellers, and the mom is the legend of the marketplace that's been there forever. You know what I mean? Like they cremated, but they paid attention to this. Let me show it to you differently. This is another way for you to sort of view this. How many people there are inside each one of these. We would call it like the TAM. That's the total addressable market for each one of these. If you look, like, this is where all the money is in real estate. All the money is here. They own it all. They've owned it forever. They've refinanced with you 73 times in the last 3 years. You with me? Their interest rate now is 0. Right? Do you guys see the opportunity? Yes or no? Yes or no? All right. So what's the action you're going to take so far? Stop, and we're just going to take just a second. I want you to write. What are you going to do so far? Because now all I'm doing is going into marketing next. So what are you going to do? What are you thinking about? And we're not going to take a break. Instead, space one at like 11:45, which instead of taking a break, we'll just go all the way through. And if you have to go potty, by all means, leave. Come back. Hold it. I'm drinking bourbon, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. Makes my seminars more fun. Yes. By the way, my dog is named after my bourbon. Do you guys know who John Wayne is? So John Wayne, his son Ethan, we co-founded a bourbon with him from John's original recipe that we found in like a crate in Costa Mesa, California, where he keeps all the memorabilia. My buddy like called me like completely hammered. Dude, it's like Tuesday. He's drunk out of it. I'm like, do you need a ride? Like, are you okay? He's like, we found John Wayne's bourbon. I'm like, I'm in. Yeah, it's paid off. It's been a good one. All right, let's keep going. So, you guys got the things you're gonna do, yes or no? Okay, tell me which one you are on the aisle. Which one are you? Those are all real estate agents. Which one are you? Are you the lemon? Are you the flaming hot? You're like, oh no, I'm luxury. I have the black one. Yes, the black one is luxury. The biggest challenge you guys face right now is 1.6 million agents. How do you stand out? Why should I list with you? Why should I do anything with you compared to everybody else in the marketplace? And in the mortgage space, it's even more stark because rates are rates and points are points. You with me? So how do you stand out? So I want to talk to you guys about that. But first, you need to know that 2018, 90% of consumers use a real estate agent. We're at 86%. That number's going to go like this because iBuyers got decimated. Isn't that a good thing? Okay, I agree. But it was good for some. It really crippled the for sale by owner market, right? But it's still 86%. Now, this part is interesting. Just read that to you for just a second. In the last 12 months, we had 87,477 realtors join the industry, which is insane, right or wrong. Let me give it to you differently. That means one new realtor every 6 minutes for the entire year. And they all come in like this. This is going to be awesome. I can do whatever I want. I've got unlimited freedom. I'm going to make a fortune. And you're just like, now, in fairness, how many of you are 5 years or less in real estate? Raise your hands really high, 5 years or less. Okay, anybody 1 year or less? Anybody? Okay. Yes? Okay, how long? 1 year exactly. Okay, anybody like months or less? Okay, dude in the back, how long?
I got it on Friday.
You got it on Friday? What's it like to be a virgin again? It's amazing. First of all, congratulations. I'm sure somebody told you that there's an 87% failure rate every 5 years. Now listen to me, brother, just be a part of Club 13.
Just being part of Club 13. Make sense? They all fail for the same reasons. Afraid to make phone calls, afraid to market. You with me? Got the wrong mentor. It's some of those basic things. So we're gonna solve it. Ready? Here we go. So again, I mentioned this to you earlier, but I think it's important for you to remember. The last time we did 4.5 million transactions was 2012, and for most of us in the industry, 2012 was an unbelievable year because it wasn't 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? We got back to like regular sales, short sales were basically gone. Home prices were going up, but we only had just sub 1 million agents versus today. So the competition is steep. Therefore, I've got to do things better. I've got to do things differently. So I would say, if you're looking for a plan, it basically is consistent content, lots of conversations, and conversion to appointments. Now, this one, if you're not doing, makes these really hard. But if you're putting out a lot of content, people know who you are, and you create that one thing that we all want, which is know, like, and trust. Know, like, and trust. So just for fun, tell everybody right now, what are your top 3 social platforms? What are your top 3? The ones that you're on the most and post the most. Tell everybody. Top 3 social platforms. Okay, Facebook, Instagram. And you do some stuff on LinkedIn. Okay, Facebook for sure. I said top 3 though, that's 1. Okay, mailing is not a social network, but I do appreciate the effort. We're going to talk a lot about direct mail, Johnny, because it works. But stay with me on content first. Okay, so Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Say it same. Okay, Facebook, you're not listen, my mother-in-law is 96 in July, right? Think about this. My Uncle Frank is 100. My mother-in-law is going to be for 3 years, and she's going to be 96. I'm going to have a roommate for at least 5 more years. Think about it. How? So she's on Facebook every day. Every day. She's like, I saw some of your ads, I clicked on them. I was like, thanks. $20, $20. Thanks, Nana. Appreciate that. So here's what's interesting. I heard Facebook, I heard Instagram, which is basically the same company, and then I heard some LinkedIn, which is fantastic, and yet the second largest search engine on the planet is YouTube, and 70% of all searches on YouTube start like this. How do I buy a home in Massachusetts? How do I, 70% of all searches on YouTube. And it's the second largest, only topped by the number 1, which is Google, the parent company. So tell your buddy very quickly how many videos you've shot so far this month. How many videos so far this month? Instagram Reels count. TikTok, because you're a dancer, that counts. Okay, 20, if you're doing Reels, that's good. Now, I'm not gonna, how do I say it best? I'm not gonna razz you if you're not doing video. Because some of you, look up here, some of you shouldn't be on video. Just saying. I mean, we can't all be this good at this point, right? No, but here's the reality. You know what I love about video? I love that when I got on YouTube the first time in 2007, by the way, I was on the golf course, 2007, the entire world is melting. And my buddy walks up, and his name is Ed Park. He's Harvard graduate, doctor, no personality. Hey, Tom, I want to play golf with me. Who's your friend? And he's like, oh, this is, and I'm like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. What do you do? He goes, oh, I work for Google. And I'm like, oh, Silicon Valley, New York, Sydney, which office? He's like, Manhattan. And I was like, you're a part of media. I go, what do you do there? He goes, I'm in charge of the homepage. Well, would you like me to carry your bag, sir? Would you like a drink? Would you like a massage? Like, let me help you find your ball. So I took my buddy Ed and I moved him over here and I rode with the guy in charge of the homepage for 5 straight hours. And I told him, I said, you know, I'm about to sign a deal with BlackBerry. And he goes, really? What's the deal with BlackBerry? I said, America's heard of BlackBerry? So in 2004, I started recording audio messages and I would email them out in a link for people to listen to every day for like 2 straight years. So I've got 2 years of these little like 5-minute, hey, it's Coach Ferry, here's the big audio messages that people have to listen on their desktop, right? BlackBerry calls me and says, we would like to build a channel around real estate with you as the primary host. I'm all excited about this, right? Now, what also came out in 2007? The iPhone. So my buddy says to me, think about how funny this was in 2007. We didn't call it podcasting then, because had I continued, I would be Joe Rogan. You with me on this? And he said, audio messages are stupid. So when the guy in charge of media at Google tells you what you're doing is stupid, what do you do? I was like, what do you recommend? He said, well, we just bought this company called YouTube. And I was like, oh yeah, Charlie bit my finger, dance video, got it, right? I'm like, is the bandwidth there yet? He goes, no, but if you start now, you will cremate it. That was July 7th. Guess what I did that afternoon? Went on YouTube, July 7th, 45 million views later, which is nothing. Like Britney Spears gets out of a car like this and gets 90 million views, right? But for 45 million views, since let's call it 16 years, Stacey, everywhere I go, someone says, oh, I haven't seen you on YouTube. Now, what's funny is you're in the relationship business, right or wrong? You're in the know, like, and trust business, yes or no? So if you had more of that content out there, whether it was on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever it is, all that you're going to get is more yeses. That's all you're going to get. Because more people are going to go, I watched that video, I saw what you did the other day, I really like that. And they haven't even met you yet, but they've already decided that they like you. Does that make sense? Turn to your buddy and say, he's so talking to you right now. All right. But the other part we know is conversations and appointments. And what all of you guys get, look up here. Prospecting is awesome, but nothing trumps a well-known brand. Nothing trumps a well-known brand. So if you're putting all the content out and then they meet you at an open house, you're putting all the content out, then they see you on the soccer game or the hockey match, they're like, oh my God, I know you. Hey, I saw that, and tell me more about it, and what about? Does that make sense? That's what you guys want. And if you don't have that, the very first thing I said is the biggest problem most of you guys have is you don't have enough attention. Not enough people know who you are. They don't know what you're about. So they list their house with Aunt Sarah, who sold 3 houses 35 years ago but still has her license. And you miss the opportunity every single day. Now, with that said, ready? So what do we all want? We all want to have a referable, recognizable brand. So here's just some things that we know work, and then we're going to break down a bunch of these. So what do we know works? Consistent emails to your database works. Yes or no, guys? So tell your buddy, what's the cadence of your emails to your database? Like, I'm on your database. How many emails do I get per week, per day, per month? Tell your buddy. I can't hear you. How often do I get an email? How often? Hello, never? Okay, once a week? Okay, and what's your open rate, do you know? Somebody just told me once a week. Okay, so I would bet that your open rate, if it's your past clients in Sphere, could be 40%, could be 60%, could be as high as 80%. And here's my response. That means they know you, they like you, they trust you, and what you're sending is worthwhile. But if you're like, wow, my open rate is like 15%, it's 18%, or I don't even know what my open rate is, it's probably low, that means whatever you're sending is the same shit everyone else sends. You guys with me? So if you send interesting things, if you do look, see the note I have up here? Like market updates, surveying your customers, the top video that you posted on Instagram or LinkedIn, a blog article you read on LinkedIn that you shared in your email newsletter. You don't have to be perfect at content. You can DJ everybody else's content. Does that make sense? So you pull 4 or 5 interesting things. So you all know ChatGPT, right? So how many of you are using it every day? I have written 3 books. I have a 4th one ready in the can. I am not a writer, which is why YouTube is easy for me. You with me? I just audio and gave it to somebody else and said, turn that into a book. Like that's just how I roll. Now I just do this. I took 4,000 videos from YouTube, had them all transcribed, uploaded into ChatGPT, and I say, take all of Tom Ferry's material and write a book. It just writes the book. You're telling me you couldn't go to ChatGPT and just say, 5 interesting real estate related tidbits, points
in the Massachusetts marketplace right now, and it would say 5 things. And then you say, turn that into a 300-word blog. Turns it into a 300-word blog. Turn the 5 best points into a 49-second video script. It does it all for you in real time. Like, look up here, guys. You know it's good when every major high school and university in the country is trying to ban it.
Yeah.
Because my son was like this, like, dude, my history file, like, had to write a paper, my ChatGPT, done. That's the world, yes or no? You guys know who Elon Musk is? I'm on the list, man. The second I can put that chip into my brain, I'm in. You guys remember the movie The Matrix? Anybody? The Matrix? Hi, I need to know how to fly a helicopter. Got it. I'm looking forward to that. Now, some of you are like, you're insane. Am I? The world's speeding up, yes or no, guys? You don't have to be the brightest anymore. All you have to be able to do is say, tell me 3 things the average person doesn't know about buying a home in Massachusetts today. Here's 3 things. Copy, paste, or better, tweak and adjust and make your own. You know, add your tone to it, add your energy to it, and boom, you're off to the races. Does that make sense? You could write every one of your video scripts that way. And you tell it, give me a 49-second video on this, write the script. And it'll write the script for you. Can you read? Because there's a teleprompter app, and if you can read, the words will just, follow the bouncing ball, and you can just talk. All right, I'm going way too deep on this. All right, number 2, Johnny, direct mail crushes right now. You want to know why? Because everybody stopped. And when everybody stops, you race to do the opposite of everybody else, and you win. Operationalizing mega open houses. So every time you do an open house, you don't just do an open house. Open house is like 3 signs, and you show up at like 2 minutes to 1 o'clock, and it's kind of a dud burger. A mega open house is you invite everybody in the neighborhood to come have lunch with you, because what happens when one home gets listed for sale? All the neighbors want to see the house, yes? You know when I started operationalizing this? It's like back when you and I met, like 2009, when I was helping loan officers do big open houses for agents on bank-owned properties. We put up 35 to 40 signs, big, ugly yellow tents, and 15 minutes before the doors were open, there'd be a line of 70 people outside. And when the market shifted, with one of my clients, NBC, Berkshire Hathaway's #1 agent, billion-dollar producer in Silicon Valley, does a third of every transaction in Silicon Valley as an agent. Like, he's just a beast. And Andy said, hey, what if we took that same concept and we just did it that way, and we invited all the neighbors to come in? It became one of the best listing sources. Because every neighbor walks in and goes, oh my God, is this really going to sell for $785,000? What are they really saying? If this dump's going to sell for $785,000, mine's worth $1.7 million. Those are all listing cues. Those are signs. Those are opportunities. Anyway, if you Google Tom Ferry Mega Open House, I walk you through the entire thing on YouTube. All right, but this is just for your database. Number 4 is creating consistent video, audio, something, right, that educates and keeps the market abreast of you and your team's activities. And ultimately, this is the game now, and then putting ad dollars behind it. Because now you post something on Facebook, and if you're lucky, less than 1% of the people that follow you see it. So when you have something really good, put $10 behind it. Does that make sense? Like 100% all the time. So tell your buddy, if we just stopped right there, because we're going to go through all this stuff, tell your buddy, where are the holes in your current strategy of building your brand in the most traditional way? Tell your buddy, where are the holes? Where are the opportunities? Go. Tell your buddy, what do you need to add?
Try again.
You guys are so like,
What are the younglings going to do? You 3. What are you going to do? More direct mail. Do you have email down already? Okay, look up here, guys. Tell me your name. Kristen. Okay, look up here. So I asked Kristen, what do you need to do? She said, I need to do more direct mail. So direct mail, if you're doing it well, you spend $1 and you make 4 or 5. Sometimes you make 7 or 10, but typically you spend $1, you make 4, right? And it's a lag on the 4. Email, it's spend $1, you make 44.
Does that make sense? This is why it's always first for me. It's always the first thing, because out of the gate, if I get all of you just start emailing your database consistently and providing real value, real substance, interesting information that they couldn't get everyplace else, you name your email something to the effect of what you'll never find on Zillow. If you just constantly say, here's 3 things you should know about the neighborhood that you're never going to know on Zillow, right now you become the person in the marketplace that's like, oh, are you reading her email? Did you read that Kristen's here? That like you become the conversation at the table, not people's Zillow's estimates. Does that make sense? So email, always start with email. And then do direct mail, because you'll make a fortune on email, especially with the stuff I'm going to show you today. All right, so let's keep jamming. Let's talk high level what I want you to start posting on social. So I'm going to walk you through kind of 7 buckets of content. The number one thing I get from people is anxiety and fear, and I'm afraid I'm not going to look good. Make sense? And I know why, because you didn't know, except for like 15 minutes ago, that if you just go to ChatGPT and say, what are the things that are trending right now in real estate in my town? And all you do is talk about that. Does that make sense? But then if you said, well, I don't know what to say, well, write me a script. Now I know what to say. Hey, I want to take a photo of this listing. Write me a really sexy listing description for this house. And it writes it for you, and you post that. Does that make sense? Get out of your head. I know why it's anxiety. I don't want to look good. What if nobody likes it? Right? You're going to feel bad. What if somebody posts a negative comment? Look up here. You know who I feel bad for? People that have time to leave negative comments. So when I wrote my second book, Ariana Huffington loved it. So she did a 4-week test inside of the Huffington Post on the 4 addictions for my book, which thank you, I know you bought a lot of copies, as so many of my friends did. 4-week test. The hate that I got on that site, except my wife was like, oh my God, like she was afraid to go outside thinking that people in Newport Beach were reading the Huffington Post. I'm like, don't worry, honey, it's okay. I went on and made comments back off to every one of them. Hey, thank you for perspective. I'm curious, did you read the book? Like, emoji. but because I engaged, I ended up selling a truckload of books, and Ariana loved it because I got a ton of traffic to the site, because when you create engagement, you move up the algorithms. Does that make sense? So I'm like, bring on the haters. Like, I don't care. Like, the haters are actually helping me sell more. Does that make sense? And it humanized me, because the book, they're like, oh, this guy's perfect. I'm like, I'm not perfect. I just have done more hours of coaching and therapy than you have, because that's all the book was about, right? Anyway, so what are you going to post? Here's the first thing, the real you. Okay, ready? Do you have a dog? Yes or no? Yes. Do you have a cat? Yes or no? Okay, do you have a house? Yes or no? Okay, do you work out? Yes or no? Do you like to cook? Yes or no? Do you have any hobbies? Yes or no? That's all the real you. That's all the real you. My little brother Patrick sells houses down in San Diego. He calls me and he's like, Carly and I just got a new dog. I'm like, what kind of dog do you have? He's like, we got a Vizsla. And I'm like, Google Vizsla, looks scary. I was like, awesome. I'm like, I'm sure your 1-year-old is gonna love that dog, as the dog is like eating him. And he says, no, the dog is super great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool. He's like, should I be posting that I have a dog on social? What do you think my answer was? I'm like, 1,000%. That dog that cost him like, I don't know, $1,200, he's made, I don't know, $100,000 in real estate commissions. Because people are like, you have a Vizsla? I have a Vizsla. Here's $25,000. I'm right or wrong, guys. Oh my God, you like lasagna? I like lasagna. I want to buy a house from you. People are weird, yes or no? We're all pack animals. We're looking for things that we can relate to, that we're similar with. So the mistake that a lot of people make is you post your listings. You post your sales. That's great, that's one part of it. Show me who you are as a human being, and I'm gonna select you more often. You with me? You're a grandmother, you're a grandfather, you're a golfer, you play pickleball, whatever it is about you, the more you show me that, you show me the whole you, because guess what? Anybody can sell real estate. That's what they believe. But not everybody loves pickleball and lasagna. Those are my 2 favorite things. Now suddenly you're my lender of choice over food and a sport. Does that make sense? And this is all data driven. This is not hypothesis. We have so much data. It's nuts. Now, again, you're gonna keep seeing this video first. Look up here, guys. Here it is. Who's done a green screen on Instagram Reels? Okay, so 8 of us. So what if I told you a couple days ago when NAR and their lawsuit about buyer commissions, when that happened, I saw the article, I took a snapshot of it, saved it, went into Instagram, I'll just show you really fast, and literally, just for context, so you understand how ridiculous this is right now, how much it's trending. So here's my Instagram Reels. So yesterday, I posted a video why 80% of people wind up broke, and I got 24,000 views. They even go, oh my God, that's a lot. You're right, 245,000 people that follow me. So if you got 200 views, that would be the equivalent. But then, me like this, bombshell multi-billion-dollar commission suit now becomes a class action. And I did a video on that, it's at 92,000 views. More than 3 times more than normal. You wanna know why? Not because of the content, because they love the green screen. That's all it is. Instagram loves the green screen. So watch this. Who's gonna take a listing this year? You should raise your hand, please. Please. You know, I'll list my house with you, please. That was, you were like, you're gonna list the house, right? What if instead of just going like this, photo of the house like you normally do, instead you took the photo inside the MLS and you went to Instagram, and this is how really complicated it is. You ready? I go here, I go new, I go reel, and none of you have ever swiped this way before, right? So if I swipe this way, it says green, green. And then I hit add media, and I hit this, and suddenly it's the background. And then when I go like this, I'm now in it. It's all messed up. There I am. Oh, hold on, you're in it. And now I'm in it. Can everybody see that? And then I'm like, hey, this is how you do a green screen.
Post it.
And I'm not gonna post that because my friends would be like, so now if that was super complicated, what you do is you go to this site. I taught this to my kids in like the 4th grade. Internal code of the Ferry household is any question my kids ask me, I'm like, GTS. They know that means Google that shit. If you Google how to do a green screen on Instagram, you'll literally see a video of when you're inside the app, this button, go one over, hit that button, take anything from your photo file, take your listing, and go, hey guys, this is my brand new listing at 124 Banana Street. This home has not been on the market for over 25 years. This charming 3-bedroom, 2-bath property right at the corner of Humma Humma and Nananana is going to be on the market in 24 hours. And by the rules of my MLS, I can let you know that it is now available in 24 hours on the MLS. And if you know somebody who wants to buy it beforehand, let me know ASAP, following your MLS rules and guidelines. And then you know what I do? I post that. And what you'll find is on the green screen, if you get 200 on a typical reel, you'll get 6, 800, 1,000, 2,000. Does that make sense? Is that a good thing, yes or no? Attention. Attention. Oh no, you ain't. I'm only at the second one. I haven't even got the marketing yet, and I'm feeling slightly behind. Okay, you guys got the idea? Okay, do me a favor. Turn to your buddy and say, do a green screen today. I would literally, this is how lame-o I am, guys. We're in Massachusetts, ready? Real estate, I'm just Googling, real estate news today in Massachusetts. And I immediately get 16 articles. And I just click on one of the articles, I screenshot it, it's now saved. I go to Instagram, I hit the green screen, the article's behind me. Look up here. These are the best ones ever. When you take a national article where they say home prices are dropping, and you go like this, it's not true here in our town. Would you be shocked to hear that right here locally in Revere, home prices are up by 11% year over year? Don't listen to national news. Always talk to a local expert when you're curious about the value of your home. Video ends. Boom. Make sense?
Can you do it? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, tell your buddy what year it is, by the way. It's 2023, right? It's gonna be 2024 tomorrow, so start. Okay, that's only number 2. Here's 33 videos I want you to shoot between now and the rest of the month. Now, by the way, in the past, I'm gonna give you a copy. You're never gonna look at that photo. You're never gonna look at it. Don't even do it. Okay, but now you ready? Shh. What these are were written based upon SEO search terms. So you're gonna wanna say, to stage a home for sale or not, the pros and the cons. Now, before you say, I don't even know how to write an article on that, ChatGPT does. Does that make sense? So you take all 33 of these videos. This is your next 33 1-minute or less videos. Look up here, guys, by the way. How many of you, be honest, you don't have content on YouTube? Raise your hands really high. Okay, I love you all. Instead of starting with long form, which will freak you out, do 59 seconds or less videos. So instead, I'm going to take every one of these, I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, write a 49-second video script, answer this question: how to sell your home and leave the stress behind. And it writes, look at voiceover, selling your home can be stressful. Now, this did it in a commercial format. I would say, no, make this just me. And it would say, oh, okay. And it would rewrite it just as you. And then you know what you do? You say, can you convert that to a teleprompter app? And it will literally go, oh, teleprompter, meaning you want the proper ... pause, right? So you don't have to read it, you just read it perfectly based on ... means pause. And then you just take that and you upload it into an app called Teleprompter. You probably heard of that one? And then you go like this. Oh shit, start over. Hi. Oh, that's not in the script. And you shoot it like 3 times, and then you go to your Instagram Reels and you upload it, and that was done in like 13 seconds because ChatGPT wrote it for you. Does that make sense? Valuable, yes or no? Okay, so you're gonna get all these done next week, right? Because each one, okay, how many of you have a child under the age of 25? Okay, older than 15. You're like, look, for a bag of weed, here's what I want you to do. And they're like, you didn't even have to give me a bag of weed, Mom. You just showed me how I'm gonna get through high school. This is awesome. Just give me a ChatGPT 4 account. The point is, you can outsource this to a 9-year-old and just say, give me all the scripts, put them inside the teleprompter app. What's up? The one you're gonna download on my phone, because I don't know how. Okay, cool. Put them in order, and now you shoot, 13 minutes a day, you shoot 13 videos, and you don't post all 13 at once, but on YouTube, if you posted every one of them all at once in the short form of YouTube, you will get so much traction because YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine on the planet. And if you started all the videos with, instead of all of this, how to stage or not, just modify everything to how to, because that's YouTube's algorithm. Does that make sense? All right, you guys got it? Good? Good so far, yes or no? What'd you guys pay to be here, by the way? You liar. I mean, if it was like a $10 show, I'm giving you at least $39 worth of information. So free, you got it. All right, hyper-local, you gotta be the local resource. So this is every park, every business, every school, everything about your local community. If you just said, hey, when I'm out around town, instead of going to the coffee shop and getting a coffee, I go and I go like this. Hey, I'm at Pete's Coffee. Have you ever been here before? Let me know. I'm a huge fan of the Americano. That's it. And then people are like, oh my God, I like Pete's Coffee. You like Pete's Coffee? Here's $10,000. People do business with people that they perceive are like them. Yes or no? Right? We used to say, interview every local business owner in your town, tag them in the video, because then they will share it on all their channels, and now all of their friends are seeing you. Does that make sense? That's way too advanced. All right, let's keep going. Social proof. This is called AKA, you took a listing, you made a sale. Now, it's one thing to have social proof from you saying, hey, sold this house in 3 days, but do you realize every time you say, I sold this house in 3 days, you actually lessen your value? But if you said, we sold this house in 3 days with 16 offers, but I've been working with these clients now for 1.5 years. And about 6 months ago, we sat down and did a strategy session to prepare their home for sale. And then we did this and 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 this. And then when we unveiled the property, I had 30 years of real estate marketing experience to know exactly who to target, exactly where to connect, and the agents to work with. So of course we generated that many offers. You guys get the difference? Okay, don't follow this gal because it'll be weird. But I'm going to read you a listing description from one of my clients. This is just the most insane thing ever. Well, I gotta find the house. Hold on. No. It's worth the wait, I promise. Do me a favor, tell your buddy who writes your listing descriptions. I hope so. Because some of you, I've read your listing descriptions. How many ways can you say charming 4-bedroom, 3-bath? Oh my goodness, this gal posts so much content. I gotta find this house. It is just worth the read, I promise. Oh, here it is. Damn it, not the right one. It's for sale. This is what happens in the middle of Tom Ferry seminars when he goes on Instagram when he shouldn't be. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you who to follow. The company is called Domo, D-O-M-O, out of Atlanta, Georgia. Domo Realty. Vanessa is the gal. She wrote this listing description that the first time I heard it, I actually thought to myself, I want that house so bad, because the way she described it was so delicious. It was like nothing I'd ever heard before in a listing description. You guys get me on this? And it's now bugging me. I think I found it. All right, here it is, 4207. Okay, so listen to this. No, shit, that's the just sold. Hold on. Does Tom Ferry have ADD? Yes. Okay, here it is. Listen to this listing description. Tucked behind the berm on an exclusive court on Buckhead Street, there sits a dark and mysterious mid-century ranch. Her low-pitched roofline entices you to throw your car in reverse and roll down your window. What is she hiding behind those windows and walnut panel front door? You pick up your phone and you dial your agent's number. Your wife is sitting next to you, scrolling through the pictures on Zillow, when she lets out a low-pitched moan. What? What is it? You impatiently ask. It's huge. She says, what's huge? You grab her phone. You're both hovering over your phone in your car. You need to get in this house ASAP. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 15. You've been sifting through 1990 McMansions and farmhouse wannabes for the past 3 months, all in search of this home. Your agent arrives 2 minutes too late. There's already another set of buyers who just pulled up, and they're getting out of their red Tesla. You can smell their trust fund from 50 feet away. They pretend not to see you as you walk by, but you can tell from their smirk they're prepared to pay $250,000 over list price. Game on, you whisper. And then there's like 6 more paragraphs. I would argue that's a listing description. What do you guys think? You might want to follow her. Domo Realty, it's insane. But when she does her description of the sale, her description of the sale is like, shoom, samurais, against all odds, against 549 Ronin. We're able to, like, the way she describes the experience makes you say, that's the agent I want representing me. It doesn't say, just sold, 3 days, 3 offers, over asking. Wah, wah, wah. Does that make sense? All right, let's keep jamming. Okay, agent behind the scenes. This is you in your real life, right? I literally say to you, people are like, I don't know what content's great. Do you get on the MLS every day? Please say yes. If you don't, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
If you're not on the MLS, so what do you do when you're on the MLS? You're looking for a buyer, right? You're like, hey, so I'm looking at the brand new listings that just came on the market. Interesting though, right now it seems like 4-bedroom homes seem to be selling in 75 times faster than a 2-bedroom in our marketplace, right? You find these interesting little anecdotes about the market and you share something like that on social. Does that make sense? Yes or yes, guys? The information, the content is everywhere. You just are so busy saying, do I look good? Heads up. If you go like this to your hair and it gets a little screwed up, people go, oh my God, you got a bad hair day. And you're like, yes, I did, because I was selling a shit ton of houses. They're like, keep up the good work, girl. Does that make sense? The best performing videos of all time for hot rock star real estate agents like you, right? You in the pink. The best stuff ever is you hat on coming out of the gym. Because they go, the bitch is real. Got it. Cool. Does that make sense? So you gotta let all that stuff go. You gotta let it all go. You're going to die. You want what else some fun today? Google death clock. And then fill it out. And it'll tell you exactly when you're gonna die. It's very motivating. I used to write my death date on my arm, at the end of the year when I was getting tired or maybe losing a little bit of my mojo, and I'm like, death clock, I'm like, shit, I gotta hurry up. Does that make sense? It's really powerful. All right, let's keep going. My Home Everything team, every service provider that helps you close a transaction, fix up the home, you need to be interviewing all of them. You need to take photos with your favorite handyman, photos with your best gardener, photos with the guy that does your carpets, right? Or like refixes up the home. You do all that, and now what they realize is when I hire you, I get access to all of these people. Does that make sense? All right, by the way, what if I told you one of my clients, Amy, Google Amy Struttenberger in a loom. So Amy has 100, she's the #1 agent in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Like #1 agent, #1 team, like 500 sales a year. She has 100 service providers that advertise on her truck, on her website as one of her service providers. They pay her $3,500 each per year. Somebody figure out the $350,000 she has in revenue before she sells the house. You guys hear what I just said? She showcases all of her service providers in her marketing, in her email newsletter. Here's the 5 handyman that I like. Photos, links, click their bio, read a review, and they pay her $3,500 a year in advertising. Make sense? And she didn't start with 100, she started with 10, and then went to 15, then went to 20, then went to 30, then went to 100. And now she's like, I think I'm gonna raise the prices to $5,000 each. But she's bringing them business. You guys get that? Right? If she wasn't bringing them business, there's no value, they're not gonna do it. Think about it. All right, let's keep jamming. All of this is only for one reason. What is it? All these things create know, like, and trust, yes? Right? You become their agent of choice and you've never met them before. All of his, yes. You know that I did this because I misspell shit all the time. All right, here we go. And by the way, what is the key? Okay, do me a favor, turn to your buddy and say, he's talking to you, babe. Video, 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 video. All right, because here's the reality. If the Titanic went down today, that's what it would look like. Right or wrong, guys? Like, I'm cold. Hey, can I tether to your phone so I can go live? That's the world we live in, yes or no? We live in a video-first world. And I make the argument, there's a guy in, I think he's in Connecticut. He's got to be Italian. He is horrible on video, but he's so perfectly himself that I watch every video. You guys all follow The Broke Agent? Okay, The Broke Agent is now showcasing. He's like, hey, this is Frank. I sell houses around here. Look at this place. $499,000. You can tear it down. I'd recommend it. Like, that's the shit he says. And I'm just like this, like, Frank, I love you. Please come speak at my events. Meaning, he's authentically himself, and the guy's going viral because he's got to be like 70 and doing this stuff. And some of you are like 28, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure. All right. This is, remember I said to you, I'm going to talk to you like I talk to my clients. And with my clients, because I love them, I care for them. And I'm like, baby, you're just too good to not be doing this stuff. So don't do everything, just do one or two. And then the next week, let's do one or two. And the next week, let's do one or two. And then all of a sudden, one video gets them a listing. They're like, okay, I get it. Make sense? All right. Questions about this before we go into like direct mail and email and all that stuff? Questions? Yes.
What are you doing? Like you're posting all your stuff, like your Instagram on your business page or your.
So, knowing what I know now, I would have never. So on Facebook, you have to create a personal profile, but all my actions on my business page. Everything is business, and I show me and my wife, me and my kids, me and the new dog, me and my 95-year-old mother-in-law, me at a seminar, me and my content, me and my YouTube channel. I show the whole me all the time. Does that make sense? Every time I post a photo of my wife, I get like 50% more likes. You with me on this? Because they're like, oh my God, I've been married 3 times. Okay, right? I show the dog. I do. If I go live with my mother-in-law after a couple glasses of wine, people are like, I'm signing up for coaching just because of that, right? Like it's, you know what I mean? So don't worry about business and personal except for Facebook where you have to have a profile page. You want to have a business page because on the business page you can run ads. You with me? And the whole game now, because of the way the algorithms are and because of how many people are on these things, you have to spend a little money to get the word out. Does that make sense? Follow-up question.
So,
I'll repeat this. Broker.
I'm a broker and I'm also running a team.
Good.
Then how am I then going to be repeating the same content? I hope there's really so many things that I'm doing with my dog and my husband.
Yes.
Am I going to put them on both pages or?
Yes. 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 She's like, do I put them on my personal page and on my business page?
No, my broker.
Yeah.
And then my.
Okay, so on your brokerage page, so you know on your business page it says, what is the purpose of this page? What is the purpose of this page? To educate, to entertain, to talk about the market, to help real estate agents get better. So all your content is that, and then you pepper in some personal stuff. Make sense? And on your personal page, you put everything. Make sense? So like the purpose of my business page is unapologetically Tom Ferry. Does that make sense? So they get everything. Make sense? But again, what is the purpose of the page? Cool. Okay, let's keep chatting. So are you committed to more content? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. So tell your buddy, what day of the week are you going to start filming?
Today.
No, meaning if it's in your schedule, it exists. And if just once a week, you're like, I'm just going to film like 5 things for this week and then post one on Monday, one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, as an example. Make sense? If it's in your schedule, shower video. You follow me? Like it's got to be in your calendar. All right, so let's keep sharing. So we send to you, right? Consistent emails, direct mail, mega open houses, content we've covered. So what's your goal for listings taken this year? Tell me the number. What's your goal?
50.
Okay, come on, I need to hear a number. How many do you want to take this year? Make it up if you have to. How many homes are you going to list this year? I can't hear you. How many? 130? No, 130? Let's go to 130. So you say 30, I say put a 1 in front of it. What if you screw up and get to 80? Here's the challenge. So it's the end of the first quarter. We're in the second quarter. The spring market's here. The stuff that I'm going to show you is easily going to get you 100 listings. So, but listen to me. I can just give you like 3 of them and get you to 30 and then we can all break and you guys can do what you want to do. But if I show you everything, I mean, I can break it down and be like, this one will get you 15 listings over the next 12 months. This one will get you easily 7. This one will get every single seller in your database to raise their hand and you said it 3 times over the course of the next 12 months.
Show me.
I'm not here to mess around.
I mean, let's go.
I'm going to move you from broker to richer. All right, here we go. All right. So, I mean, come on, this is all I do is this. You with me? But remember when I started this by saying, what are the top 3 things you're trying to accomplish? What are you trying to solve for? So if you're not trying to solve for listings, you should leave because that's all we're going to talk about. You with me? But the first part is, understand if you're not putting out content, people don't know who you are. You have people in your database that don't have context for what you're really about. So if all of a sudden you're sending me a video, all of a sudden I'm seeing a post from you on Instagram,
All of a sudden I'm seeing a green screen from you. I'm now going, wait a minute, this gal's been selling real estate for 32 years. She's with it. This is awesome. Does that make sense? Then when I get the marketing, then when I get the email, then when I get the text, then when I get the direct mail, remember I said it's content and then conversations and appointments. Make sense, everybody? If you have no context, no content in the beginning, it sometimes will feel cold and maybe even abrasive. Does that make sense? But when they're like, oh, there she is. Tell me your name. Christine, yeah, sorry. I'll go to you next, but I was this one. Yeah, you look exactly like one of my speech coaches, right? Like verbatim. How tall are you? Okay, she's like 5'1", so yes, tiny, right? But unbelievable. She teaches all the former athletes how to be in front of a camera, right? When they want to be on like ESPN or local news, super bananas. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at this list. These are some of the working, let's just call it lead pillars of listing attraction right now. So just go through the list. Which ones are you currently not getting listings from? Just which ones are you currently, so hopefully you're getting some here. I'm guessing the vast majority of you are no. This one, by the way, is the #2 listing attraction source amongst my clientele right now. Geographic farming, open houses and mega open houses, direct mail, which we talk expired listings, because they're back, right? How about niche farming, like, you know, boomers with no mortgage? Circle dialing works, but if I can't give you a video, what's the likelihood of me getting you to make a phone call? You with me? Agent referrals. How many of you have a Google My Business page? Raise your hands really high. How many of you are advertising on Google Local Services ads? Raise your hands really high. So you built a business page, but you don't want any traffic there?
Yeah.
Think about that. I have a client, Dwayne Pano. You should follow him on Instagram. 3 years in the business, little African American dude. Like his words, he said to me, Tom, I was born like on the other side of the tracks. Like I shouldn't be alive. And the fact that I'm now selling houses, he signed up for coaching 2 weeks into his real estate career, did 36 deals last year, cremating it. Almost all of it came from Google Local Services ads because his phone number's there and he advertises like, ready for this? $500 a week. And you're like, oh, that's $2,000 a month. For 36 deals and his average sales price is $550. Figure out the math. He said, when they call, I answer because it says Google Money Call. That's the number in his phone. Google Money Call. And he's like literally with his 3 kids, he's like, I gotta take this. Hey, this is Dwayne, how can I help you? Hi, yeah, we're looking to sell our house and most of them are sellers, not buyers. Because you know on Google, you can, I'm getting ahead of myself. Do you guys know who Jason Pantana is? Okay, so everyone else write down Jason Pantana. Pantana. Sounds like a 70s cop, doesn't he? Jason Pantana. Jason Pantana. So Jason's a coach for me. He also leads our Marketing Edge events. Jason has on his YouTube channel or on my YouTube channel or on Instagram, mine or his, because we share all the same content. If you just type in Jason Pantana Google business page, he'll take your Google business page from whatever it is to here. And then if you decide, hey, I'm gonna advertise $50 a week and test it, or $500 a week, whatever your budget is, start small and build your way up, you'll cremate it. But if you advertise and your page isn't set up right, you'll get phone calls, but they'll be like, hi, we'd like to buy a Winnebago on no wheels for $14. Can you help me? And you don't, so you need to position yourself accordingly on your Google business page. How many of you are marketing to non-owner-occupieds and investors in your area? Okay, I love the 5 of you. And then that one should be obvious. Okay, so let's break it down. Ready? Consistent content, conversations and appointments, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So we're gonna go through all 5 of these. You guys ready? Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay. So texting your database works, yes or no? If you send them the right text. If you send them the wrong text or an inappropriate text, you can be in trouble. So understand that great marketing is like lasagna. If you do all of it, you have lots of layers. If you only do 1 of the 5, you've got a little cheese and a little bit of pasta. Does that make sense? So what I want you thinking is, it's this, and this, and this, and this. It's the direct mail, it's the email, it's the event, it's the party, it's the open house, it's the next email, it's the text, it's all these things combined that make marketing really sing for you. It makes you what I would call like the market of one. that there's no one else they're thinking about when it comes to a mortgage. Does that make sense? So I recommend you do all of it. It's all about layers. So texting, let's start here first. This would be the first time in your life you were stoked that Zillow was wrong. You guys with me on this? So what if I told you this, you take your past clients, you text them a screenshot of their house on Zillow, and you say, hey, Kristen, I was thinking about you today. I checked your home value on Zillow. I have my opinion. What do you think? Emoji. And you text it to them. That's it. Seminar over. Got it? Now, this, so I'll give you a perfect case study. So I have a client from New York City who moved to southern New York, aka Miami. And because she was new to the marketplace, but wildly successful in Manhattan, she moved to New York City and she joined the team. You with me? She joins the team, she goes to the team leader and says, can I have 500 or 1,000 of your past clients or your sphere, your database, to work as my own on your behalf? What did the team leader say? I never call my own past clients. Go ahead. She sends this to 500 people and listed 22 houses last year. I'm going to get you over 100 if you work. If you don't work, none of this shit works. Actually, one does. Can you send an email? It'll work. But the rest stuff, so ready? So she sends this 500 times. New agent in Miami. Now, she had the unfair advantage. She was texting your database that you never do on your behalf. Hey, I'm texting for Jessica. We were chatting about your homes. We pulled up the value on Zillow. What do you think? We've got our opinion on this. Instant engagement. 85% of people respond to a text message in under 5 minutes. Think about that. 85%. And all of a sudden, she's in conversation. Can I give it to you again? Experienced agent, moved from New York, went to Miami, and essentially was texting a cold to her list. There's your first 22. Got it? So, watch this. The next one is, hi, I was thinking about you today. Are you curious about the recent bank failures and how they may have impacted your home's value? Anytime I can use today's news that might entice some curiosity, I'm going to get a response. Does that make sense? Yes or no? All right. This is, by the way, the one that my client sent in Atlanta. She got 7 listing appointments just sending this. People are like, oh my God, it's funny that this is a veteran agent. In fairness, 15, 18 years in the business, and she's got a lot of past clients in Sphere. And here's what we know. Write this in your notes. In your marketplace, around the 7 to 8 year mark, they start thinking about selling. So I have a feeling she was being very targeted in her text message to get that kind of response. But Atlanta, it's like every 4 years. It's such a migrant market coming in and out for work that everybody she's texting is like, hey, are you curious about how the bank failures are impacting you guys? We are, but we're actually thinking about selling. Hey, we're getting a job, hey, military move, whatever it is. Boom. She probably had 45 conversations and set 7 appointments all via text while Tom Ferry seminar was happening. Got it? So I'm not saying you're going to get 7, but what if you got 2 more? I'm now at 24. Got it? Okay, so who's going to do the first one? I'm going to punch all of you that didn't raise your hand. Okay, did I? Who's going to do the first one? Come on, man, we're like in New England. I can talk fast. If I was in Iowa, I'm like, hi. Who's going to do the first one? How many people do you have on your phone? Here's the bummer you're going to have. Now, take the agents out, right? Take regular consumers in for a broker, and now essentially it's like, well, I got 2,000. 5% of the people are going to de-relocate, get a dog, get a divorce, get diamond, get and all the other things that create change in our life, and they're going to do something. Now, don't think that when you send this, they're going to go, that price is wrong, I want to sell my house. They're going to say, I thought my home was worth more. Or, really? And if they just say to you, really, what do? Call. No. If I call you right away and we're texting, I'm breaking digital rapport. I'm in modality of text.
stay in text. I have clients that are doing this on Instagram DMs. There's because that's the modality. Like I get a ton of people, I get 1,000 text messages a day, I probably get 500 DMs in Instagram. Hey Tom, think about this, what do you think? Because that's where they want to be in rapport with me, so I stay in rapport on whatever platform they're in. Make sense? Because if I call that person, if you ever like text somebody and you call them, they don't answer, and then they text you back and go, what's up? You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, I don't know, I just called you, you didn't answer. They're like, yeah, what's up? Like they'll text with you all day long, but I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. So I got you 22 there. This will get you 5 or 6 more easy. The key is when they say really or sure or that sounds good, you say to them, ready? So write this down because it's not going to be inside there. Write this in your notes. Would you like me to run an equity report for you? Nobody wants a CMA. Stop saying it. It's stupid. It's not 1987 anymore. I don't care about a CMA. I want to know how much equity I have. Would you like me to run an equity report for you? And what are they going to say?
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah. Then what information do you need? Hey, I need what's your current mortgage balance, right? And you can just do this via just current mortgage balance. Okay, great. I'll run the numbers. I'll give you a low, mid, and high. Now you're having a meaningful conversation. Yes or no, guys? I have about 500 teams in the country that I literally said to them just a few weeks ago, hey, for the entire second quarter, tell your sales teams, minus the inbound leads that we have to call, if they're just working their past clients in Spirit, try and get them to do 1 hour of text messaging every day to start the day. 1 hour of text messaging to start the day. All you just did 1 hour from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and you fired out 10, 20, 30 of these, you will be buried by the end of the week. So here's my request, look up here. Start with 5 a day. If you did 20 or 30, you'll be buried. Because someone's gonna raise their hand and say, oh my God, it's funny that you're not gonna believe this, we wanna sell our house. We were just thinking about you the other day. Hey, my neighbor wants to buy a house. You're gonna get so much from this. 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day, 5 a day. Brush your teeth, send 5. Brush your teeth, send 5. Same discipline. Got it? All right, this one's a no-brainer, totally works. Let's go to email. Email. So email, I wanna give you the obvious first, ready? So, wanna flush out every seller in your database right now?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna just skip by it and go to something else. Okay, so what if I told you, because there's several hundred of you inside the room, safe to say that there might be some crossover. You're like, I might have the same lead in my database as you have. So whoever sends it first will get the best response, but there's a hook. So write this in your notes, you ready? When you send this, what time Sunday between 4 and 8 are you going to send it?
401.
What time on Sunday between 4 and 8 are you going to send it? The answer is Sunday between 4 and 8. Does anybody want to know why you want to send it Sunday between 4 and 8? Okay, not because of the game, not because of church. It is the most trafficked time in America on Zillow, Realtor, HomeLane. It is the most people are preparing the week and they're looking at real estate. You with me? So if Sunday between 4 and 8 is the most popular time, wouldn't it make the most sense to send an email at that time period? To text them at that time period? I tell people, like, literally, you could just go, grab your 15-year-old and say, want a new Xbox? Cool. Here is 25 addresses with names. Send every one of them this text message. Go. You make dinner, and they send text messages. Sunday between 4 and 8, you will set up the week with a whole bunch of meaningful conversations, and you'll flush out 1 or 2 sellers out of that every single time. Someone just go, thanks so much. Love that I now know that. I think my home is worth more. We don't care. We're not moving till they take us out of the pine box. Tell your 15-year-old to not send, and when would that be? That would be bad. So, this email, Sunday between 4 and 8. Now, a couple things, you ready? If you use something like, Nick, tell me your email service provider. Who do you use? Okay, MailChimp is a good example. MailChimp, this oftentimes will fall into the sponsor
portion of email. And when it does, it's promotional, it's advertising, and you'll maybe get a 20% success rate. So you send it through Gmail as an example. You send it through follow-up box as an example. You send it through another email service provider, heck, Microsoft Outlook, you'll get a better response. Does that make sense? But the key to this email is it has to say, hi, Tom. Hi, Christine. It can't be like, hey, you with me? Happy Sunday. It needs to be personal. You guys with me on this? It needs to be personal. The best example of this is the same gal that I showed you all of her numbers with 419 sales that her and her team didn't get. She sent it to 8,000 people in her database. I don't recommend that. She sent it Sunday. I was with her in Houston doing an event. She sat like where you're sitting and spent the entire all day Sunday, or excuse me, on Monday in the event, answering emails. Because the response, she had like 350 people send her an email back. These are past clients. She's been in business for 20 years. These are past clients. These are people that are Sphere, in her church group, her kids, football, experience. It's all of that. And when they respond, if you don't respond back, you lost rapport, yes or no? So start with a smaller list. If you got a couple thousand, send 200, then send 200 the next Sunday, then send 200 the next Sunday, and work through the list intelligently versus one of my clients has 240,000 people in his database, send it to the entire thing. I was like, big mistake. He's got 85 salespeople on the team. They were all trying to work it, but we didn't get the results that we wanted. We got a lot of hand raisers though. So here's the email. Subject line, name your price. Don't change it. Name your price. Hide their name, comma. Could you finish this sentence for me? If I could sell my house for X, I would list my home this spring. It is bananas. Now you will get some, I can't wait to hear your answer. Prayer emoji, that's it. Now, here's the other thing, and I know, somewhere Stacy will hear this and go, you don't want your email with the 7,000 things below it, because that actually will slow it down, especially if you're using, something like your email service provider. So you want it clean and simple. This is in black on Google, white is fine, right? Subject line, name the price, hi Jimmy. Could you finish the sentence for me? If I could sell my house for this, I'd sell my home this spring. Can't wait to hear your answer. You will get people that will say, $7 trillion. And you say, wow, sounds like I should do an equity report on your house. You're sitting on a fortune. And you still have to respond to everybody, yes or no, guys? All right, so you're gonna do it, yes or no? When on Sunday?
48.
AM or PM?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we're on the same page. So this, depending on the size of your database, you do this 4 times over the next 12 months. Change this to the fall. Change that to summer. You with me? And you're all gonna go like this. Holy shit, Tom Ferry just got me another 18 listings. So right now, I'm probably in the mid-40 range, bless you, so far. Bless you. You know what sneeze is more powerful than an orgasm? That was actually in USA Today. I'm flying from JFK back to LA. Guy next to me opens up the life section of USA Today, and the headline was, a sneeze is more powerful than an orgasm. And he kind of did one of these, shuffled the paper, looked at me, I looked at him, we both looked at the headline, and he goes, ding, can we get some pepper, please? Are you hitting on me? What's going on here? So is that good for you? Nice. So if you have 2, it's a multiple, just go with it. All right, keep down. This is an adult seminar. All right. So you ready? Now look at this one. Read the email. The subject line is, do I rent my house or do I sell my house? You don't want to say that, you want to just say rent versus sell. Hey, if you're like most homeowners, you may be weighing the pros and cons of selling versus renting out your current property. If you're like most homeowners, they're like, well, I am like most homeowners, but I wasn't thinking about that, but now I'm now thinking about it. If this describes your current situation, I recommend getting a professional rent versus sell analysis. This report will provide you with a detailed breakdown of how much income you can generate each year if you decide to rent out your home
as well as an estimate of your net proceeds in the event of a sale. It takes into account factors such as local market trends and the condition of your property to give you an accurate picture of your options. Even if you don't have any plans to sell, this report will be helpful as you weigh your future options. So either way, if you're not going to rent or sell, you still want the report. Would you like me to prepare a rent versus sell analysis for your home? Now, so I send this one this month. What do I send in May? You with me? And you're like, oh, I just flushed out. Now, as Jamie said to me, yeah, we set 30 listing appointments from sending it out to 8,000 people. But what we really did is we activated 350 people into our nurture campaign of future sellers. And since we all know, when someone's thinking about selling, Gail, when my wife said, dog, even if we actually bought another house, we're not buying it on Tuesday. You with me? 35% of the homes in the community that she wants sell off market. Everything else is kind of shitty. So I'm a year away, and I don't want to sell my apartment. But since she wants to move, what am I probably going to do? Right? So either way, it's going to take time. So if somebody had me in their pipeline and they were good at following up, I'm a future seller. Does that make sense? I'm always a future seller. How about you guys? I just bought some land in Jackson Hole. I already got a letter, like a handwritten letter. Hey, we noticed you bought this property in Jackson Hole. We'd be willing to pay you $500,000 more than you paid for it. Didn't even ask me how much I paid for it. Assume they got some tax record. It's a piece of dirt. You with me? No loan. I'm like, make me an offer. Does that make sense? Everybody's a seller at a certain price. So this is a really good one. You gonna do this? Hey, so flesh out another 20 or 30 people, and you know who you're gonna get a bunch of? People that have owned the home forever, that are thinking about maybe passing it over to their children, and they want to know, hey, I've got a 55-year-old son who's a knucklehead, but if I kept this in a trust and I had the rent checks go to him, could we keep it in perpetuity? You're gonna get a bunch of that kind of stuff. So just be ready for it. So now we're probably at 55 listings. Okay, so let's keep jamming. This one, okay, hold on. Write this in your notes. Inexpensive buyer leads are inexpensive seller leads. Inexpensive buyer leads are inexpensive seller leads. Because depending upon your market, if you go into let's just call it the boomer mature, all of them that are going to transact, they're buying and selling. Gen Xers, buying and selling. The later part of millennials, buying and selling. Most of the millennials, first-time buyers. So inexpensive buyer leads create inexpensive seller leads. So watch this. Again, you know your regulations, but this is fire right now. Exclusivity ends in 24 hours. Now, you know your MLS rules, what you can and cannot do. So if you can't do this, don't do it, right? But per the MLS guidelines, I only have 24 hours to share this home with you before everyone has access to it on Zillow. For location, price, and details, reply to this email. And you send it to the entire database. It is absolutely nutso. Does that make sense, everybody? Right? And here's what you're gonna get. What's the price? Right? What's the street? And you're not gonna call, you're gonna say an email report. Right? Or you can say, hey, I can text you the information, would you like to text? Do you want me to email you, text, or call? And let them decide, and they're like, just reply. Hey, it's going live tomorrow, it's this address. Is this for you or someone you know? Because they might be helping a friend who also wants to buy. Does that make sense? You just want to have access to it before it hits the MLS to have the possibility of double ending a deal or getting the seller. You guys got it? Okay, you gonna do this one, yes or no? Okay, so last of you, you're getting overwhelmed. This one is the same exact concept, but you do it inside of Facebook. Found a 4-bedroom foreclosure in one of the best neighborhoods in where he works. DM me for the deal if you want to make a run. Now, could that just as easily be found or just listed a 4-bedroom home in subdivision in city, 4-bedroom sells 75 times faster than every other property in our market. DM me if you want the information. And they're all going to say, what's the address? What's the price? Where is it? And in that case, you say, need a cell phone number in order to give you the information. And you've earned the right to say, we need to build up a conversation. I'm not just going to give you the number. You guys got it? A little more advanced than the first two, but this one is really, really good. Okay, this one's bananas. Tell your buddy how many listing appointments you're going to go on this year. Approximately. You're going to go on 130. Thank you. Because 30 is too small. Okay? Okay, so 67 more. This shit's going to get you 167, so raise your goals. Okay, so watch this. I'm making the argument that every time you're going on a listing appointment, you should send your database an email like this. Hi Nate, I'm not sure if this is for you. I'm about to go meet a potential seller at 2 p.m. today to think about listing their home. I can't give away too much information, but what I can say is homes like this typically sell way above asking and within a few days of being listed. If you're in the market, reply to this email right now and I'll add you to my VIP list. The moment I can share the details with you, I will. P.S. Feel free to share this email with anybody in your network who's looking to buy soon. And all of a sudden, your email is going viral in their office or it's going viral in their community. Because in areas where there's no inventory, there's no inventory. And friends help friends, right or wrong, guys? Okay, this is probably only good for 5 listings. You with me? But if you're going to go on 60 more appointments, do you follow me? Now, you could say, hey, this week I went on 3 seller appointments, all in various stages of getting ready to put their home on the market. One is of this, one is of that, one is of this. If you want advance notice, email me and let me know. And all I'm trying to do is flush out the buyers, but I don't really want the buyers. I acknowledge that 60% of the buyers need to what? Sell. Low-cost buyer leads are low-cost seller leads. Got it? All right, let's keep going. So, did that all make sense on email? Okay. None of you are going to do this, but it works. Notice I comment super easy, a little more advanced, but I'm going to give you guys some really good insight. So here's the first thing. I want you to have 10 meaningful conversations today. Can you have a meaningful conversation via text, yes or no? Yes. In today's world, 1,000%. Does it matter how you have the conversation? The answer is no, as long as we're asking questions and we're engaging back and forth, right? But in a perfect world, I want you to get them on the phone eventually because I need to hear tone. I need to hear their pauses. I need to hear how the words sound because we know that 38% of their tone is what the word really means. I'm like, you son of a bitch versus you son of a bitch, right? Same exact words, but very different tone, very different meaning. And sometimes we lose that in too much text and email. When you have 10 meaningful conversations and you ask a lot of good questions, you're going to find 5 opportunities to serve of those 10 conversations. Half of them, it could be you need a local this, you need a referral for that, you need a hookup on this, and you're serving in that way. So when people say, you always need to be delivering value, value is what's important to the customer when you're on the phone. If somebody needs a rest, by the way, do you all do this before Valentine's? Do you call in the month of January and book 25 tables for 2 to all the restaurants in your town and then email your database and say, first come, first serve, I booked all these restaurant reservations? Oh, write that down. It's such a good one. I got clients that do it in postcards and email and all. What are you doing? You're delivering value to your customers. You know who responds the most? Dudes. Oh my God, do you have anything left? It's the day of. And is that, again, is that all I want you to be top of mind. I want them to think of you as the go-to source for everything. So even that is 5 opportunities, and you're gonna find 2 pieces of business inside of every 10 conversations. The piece of business could be, I'm referring to my loan officer. It could be they want to sell in 3 years. It could want to refer me to somebody that wants to buy right away. There's always going to be 2 opportunities if you're asking good questions. So speaking of good questions, how many of you have a neglected past client? Every one of you raise your hands, except for the dude that's 1 day in the business. Don't have any of these. So I'm giving you, do you guys know who Phil Jones is? Phil's a really good friend of mine. We do a lot of work together. He's exclusive for us in the real estate industry now. So this is an OFQ from Phil Jones, an opening fact question. So I haven't talked to you in 10 years. Hey, it's Tom Ferry with ABC Realty. I helped you guys with your home purchase at 1234 Banana Street in 2012. It's been forever. And they're like, who is this again? Who is this again? And I'm like, do you guys still live at 1234 Banana Street? Sometimes your heart will be broken. No, we sold that during the pandemic. Right? Do you guys still live in this? Now, this is a simple opening. What I don't want to do is go, hi, Johnny. Remember we fell in love, had sex, had a baby called Your House, and then I abandoned you for 10 straight years? I'm so sorry. That's not a good way to start a conversation. Instead, it's just, hey, I hope you guys buy our house. It's been forever. Do you guys still live at 1234 Banana Street? Yes, we do. Hey, I thought about you guys the other day. Now, this is where the pros show up. Every one of you can remember something about the house, something that was unique to the home. The weird tree with the roots that were growing up and pushing the kitchen up, right? The next door neighbor who had the car on blocks in front of the house. And it was the visual eyesore. I was in Miami and this guy goes, oh yeah, I sold this person this house on the water and there was a Jesus mural, like 8 feet tall, inside of the master bathroom, in the shower. I'm like, that's weird. So he would say, I thought about you guys the other day. Did you guys ever remove the Jesus mural from the master bathroom? And what does that tell the client about you? You were like, I know you. I remember you. You are special. I remember you. You with me? It immediately endears them back to you. Then you decide, hey, there's been a lot of national data shared about the real estate market. When was the last time you guys had a look at your home prices and an equity checkup? And you don't have to do this. Sometimes just doing this is enough. And you can say, hey, I just wanted to just say hi. It's been forever. Any questions about the real estate market? No, we're good. Okay, cool. Hey, I'll see you in 10 years. And then they'll giggle and you say, seriously, I'll call you the next 90 days just to check in and see how you're doing. Right? Or you invite them to an open house, or you invite them to a dinner, you invite them to your summer party, whatever it is you do, that kind of stuff. All right, so that's an easy one. Here's another example. Anybody who sold a house last 2 to 4 years? This is the most effective language. So, hey, it's Tom with LAER Real Estate. How you doing? Hey, I'm sure you've been inundated with market stats and national news telling you real estate home values are tanking. Yeah, I'm reading it everywhere. Everyone's saying the entire real estate market's falling apart. Well, I'm calling to find out if you guys have any questions about our market, your neighborhood, or values, specifically your home's value. Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm curious. Tell me what's going on. You don't have to do this verbatim. I'm curious, do you guys have any plans to remodel, any home improvements? And if so, do you need any recommendations or service providers? Value. Hey, I've noticed more buyer demand and interest in your neighborhood. I'm curious, have you heard, this is delicious, have you heard any rumors? Any rumors of a neighbor that's thinking about making a move? And they're like, do I tell them about Phil and Sally that are getting divorced or not? Do I have enough rapport, right? And then this one, hey, would it be okay if I checked in periodically to see if you've heard any rumors of potential opportunities for home shoppers in your neighborhood? You guys got it? Easy? Do you want a copy of all this? You're not gonna make any phone calls. All right, let's keep going. This is super pro only. Stacy, I think we're gonna be done at noon. I'm racing.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, but we did this with no breaks, so this is very impressive. Okay, you ready? This is so pro. My client, Tim Smith, right? So if you Google Tim Smith Group Real Estate, 300 listing appointments last year, goal this year, 375. Because the market is down 40% on transactions in his area that he serves. So he's got to go on way more appointments. Tim has sold me a house. He has listed one of my houses. He has shown me property. He's the single worst buyer's agent on the planet. No, literally. He says, oh, you want to go look at that house in Newport? I'm like, yeah, we're just texting. Yeah, he goes, cool. He goes, meet me in my house at like 2 o'clock. I'm like, great, I'll be right there. I pull up at 2 o'clock. He is in his car on the phone, and he sees me, he goes, and he's just talking to a potential prospect, trying to book an appointment. I get in the car. He talks to the client the entire time. We drive to the house. He hits mute and goes, you know how to use lockbox, right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, take a look. This is a $7 million oceanfront.
On walks. I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, okay. And then walk through the house by myself for 15 minutes, come back out. He's still on the phone. He's like, I've got 2 missing appointments since you've been inside there. And I'm like, I'm the worst agent on the planet. I go to a 25-minute, I'm with him on an appointment to go look at this $25 million house, potential seller. He's along the coast, so I know crazy prices. We walk up, the front yard is spectacular, right? So the gardener is there and he's working on it. He walks up to the gardener and he's like, did you do all this? The guy's like, yeah. He's like, this is spectacular. He's like, how long have you been doing this? The guy's like, I've been doing this my entire life. He's like, my dad was in this business, now I'm in this business, I'm giving this to my sons. And he's like, and have you maintained this house the entire time since these guys have owned it? He said, yeah. He said, I moved with them to this house and redid all this. And he goes, I helped those guys and those guys. Like, this is the local pro. And he's like, hey, I'm just curious. Have you any lots to sell in your house? To the gardener. No, this is in Corona Del Mar. The gardener has a house in Santa Ana, California. And the guy's like, well, not really. And he goes, really? Every person he asks this question, have you had any thoughts of selling? Say it out loud. Say it again. Now say it like you're curious and actually care. And you might even do this. Have you guys had any thoughts? Right? And they're like, no. And then he'll do this because Tim's like 6'4". He'll go, really? You've had no thoughts of selling? Like even during the pandemic? And they go, well, the truth is during the pandemic, we were thinking about it all the time, but then we wanted it, and they just open up. Because the first time you ask it, it's like you walk into a department store and you're like, I need a dress for that event, I need a dress for that event. And a salesperson says, hi, can I help you? And what do you say? No, I'm just looking. If they stopped and said, really? You're walking into the dress department and you're just looking? You'd be like, well, the truth is, I'm going to this event and I need. So he kills the smokescreen no by saying, really? Really? You've had no thoughts of selling? I mean, everybody's a seller at a certain price. What's your price, right? But then he'll ask this question. Do you know anybody who's had any thoughts of selling? He asks every single person, do you know anybody who's had any thoughts of selling? And they're like, I don't know anybody. He's like, you don't know anyone? I mean, you don't know anyone that's getting a divorce. You don't know anyone that's getting a job transfer. You don't know anyone that got a recent big bonus. You don't know anyone that's pregnant. They're like, well, actually. And then he gets the referral. Does that make sense? And then his all-time favorite question, hey, do you know anybody that tried to sell in the past and it didn't work out? Because the best expired listing to get is a referred expired listing from a friend who says, you got to work with Sally, she's the best. But those are super advanced. Those are pro only. Because if you talk to somebody, you go, have you had any thoughts of selling? They're going to walk away. Really? Doesn't work like that. Okay. Leaving effective voicemails also works. Leaving effective voicemails. So this is my client, Ken Pozak. He's down in Orlando, Florida. He did $80,000 in commissions in 1 week. 30 CMAs sent, 8 by buyers agents, 12 appointments booked, 5 listings taken, all 5 sold, 1 was double-ended, $80,000 in revenue. And all they did was leave this voicemail over and over and over for clients. Hey, I just want to give you a quick equity update. It looks like homes in your area are selling between $625 and $675, depending upon finishes and amenities. I'm not sure if you guys had any thoughts of selling this year, but even if you don't, I just wanted to know where you're at. That voicemail, over and over and over and over. You guys know Slide Dial? Where so you use Slide Dial, the app, which I don't really like any business that starts with the word slide. But Slide Dial lets you bypass them answering, it just goes right to their voicemail. Does that make sense? It's pretty slick. All right, so let's keep jamming. Here's another one, ready? A little more advanced, because this is like, hi, it's Connie with the Carlson Real Broker. The reason I'm reaching out is that we recently sold a home at 1098 Copperwood Drive. This is the voicemail. Listed for $775, they're actually sold in 4 days at $790. Anytime that your neighbor sells their home, anytime your neighbor homes, it does impact your home's value. I'm not sure if this is for you, but if you're exploring the idea of selling this year and you'd like to know how much your home is actually worth, give me a call back at phone. Make sense? And then you can just kind of see the text exchange going back and forth, like generating good leads just by leaving voicemails. So what works in this market, guys?
Everything.
Working works in this market. Now, last part is direct mail, so we'll rip through a couple. You guys want more listings? I think I'm probably only at like, maybe I'm at 70. I'm gonna go 65. I'm at 72? Okay, so then we're gonna get you more than 100. All right. This one may look familiar to you. Look familiar? Hey, right? This is an iPhone screenshot. Hey, Gretchen, if I can sell my house for X, I list my home on the screen. Change this to your name. Hey, just out of curiosity, if I can sell my home for X, I list it. Text your answer to this number. Just text me at this number. I can't wait to hear from you. And all of a sudden, you start getting texts for like 795, 642, 1.8 trillion, and now you're engaged with people via text. Now, the original concept of the email, remember I said you always start with email first? Because if I email it and it gets a good response, then I do direct mail. But if I start with direct mail, it's expensive. Email's free, send it, wow, that worked, put it into a direct mail piece. But what if I told you we also sent this to a colder list, not just to your past clients in Sphere. He was also sent, check this out. So this is Jimmy Mackin, who owns Curators, my partner in another business. I'm like, hey man, give me the highlights. Is that from that postcard? He's like, yep, here are the highlights. Total investment, $780, that's more than email. Targeted homeowners in a turnover area, 6% or higher, with 30% equity and own the home for 5+ years. So mailed it to a targeted group and got that response. And here's what was cool. Look at the average sales price. 2 listings, 4.6 million. By the end of the campaign, that was at 5 listings taken. Make sense? To 500 homeowners. Now, you guys all use Remine, R-E-M-I-N-E? Where do you think you got the data from? Show me every home in this area that has this, this, and this. Here's your list. Send that card. Got it? How many more listings did I get you? That was only 5, so it's at 72, so I'm at 77. All right, pressure's on. This one was only good for 10. Okay, this was good for 10. So, blank, so just for context, on the back side of this postcard, on this, like 1/3, it's an address and a stamp. This side is all black. And around here it says, in very thin gray print, if your home is currently listed for sale, this is not a solicitation, and here is my DRE number and all that stuff. Legit by NAR, legit by all state associations. This thing is absolutely cremating it, and here's the best part. One of my clients, a guy named Stephanie Younger, she's the #1 team in kind of West Side Los Angeles for her brand, about $450 million in sales last year. She's a geographic farm, open house, old school rock star real estate agent. Past client Sphere, Geo Farm, open house, parties, 4th of July, Christmas time, Santa, the whole 9 yards. She's like, I'm not sure if I can send that to my database, right? To her geographic farm, 12,000 houses. She sends out the 12,000, she was 5 houses in 30 days. 5. She was like, holy shit. And the best part was, it wasn't her past clients. And the ones that like past clients hit the QR code and then text her and said, Steph, this is the coolest market I've ever seen. You guys with me? The QR code goes to a landing page. The landing page doesn't have your face on it, doesn't have your branding on it, doesn't have you like this. Hi. It stays consistent with the marketing message. It's a black or an orange, because he did orange and black, and it just says, check your home value here. What's your address? And all landing pages are adjustable. You start with the address first, right? Once you capture the address, then you're like, cell phone, email. And if you don't get cell phone or email, what do? Property radar? What do you guys do? Bless you. Those were like little orgasms. You got 3 of them in a row. He'd be asleep after 1. All right. This is an adult seminar. Does that make sense, everybody? So look at the numbers. So this is Mike Fields, right? Mike Fields, good agent in the Northeast. He sends out the black one, 13,000. 282 people went like this. Bill, direct mail, trash, bill, trash. You know, you guys with me? Like how we do our mail? And then went like this. Scan the QR code. 282. He only talked to 132 of the 282. You with me? He got 9 listing appointments, took 7 in his marketplace, all 7 were gone. He then took this and turned it to orange, mailed it to an additional 10,000 new area, 265, only talked to 92, booked 6 listing appointments, took 3, and the campaign continued, and now he's at like 12 just from this. Right? Now, direct mail is expensive, yes or no? But not if you're getting these kind of results. Now, one of my clients said, I did this and it didn't work. And I said, what didn't work? Well, I drove them to, what's the name of the home bot? I drove them all to home bot. And I was like, that was a mistake. Right or wrong, guys? Home bot's awesome, but all I want to do is the value of my home. I don't want to now be tracked and monitored by home bot. So he's like, I sent it out to 5,000 people and I got like 2 people that added themselves to home bot. I'm like, because the thing didn't say, want to sign up for HomeBot? You guys with me on this? So you have to stay consistent all the way through. If there's no branding all the way through. Then when you call, you're like, hi, I'm Tom Ferry. I work with, you recently filled out a form. You wanted to know your value. Homes in your area are actually selling for more than the published number that they sent you. Would you like to know? And you write your game. Now, the funny part of this with Mike is I interviewed him in February of this year in Vegas in front of a couple thousand clients. And I'm like, Mike, why did you get 265 people when I talked to 92? And he said, because I'm buried. I have too much business. When was the last time you said that? Guess what Mike just did? He mailed this to 110,000 people. Right as the spring market's hitting. Now he's like, this is just the easiest way, because I see he's spending $1, and he's making like 11 every time he spends $1. Do you guys get that? So where are we at now? 87? All right. Send the orange one too. Well, I like pink. Send it pink. I don't give a shit. Just don't change any of that stuff. Okay? Are you ready? This one. Now this is really only good for a couple listings, so maybe we're gonna get to 84. What if I told you this company's called Yellow Letters? The company's called Yellow Letters. YellowLetters.com. You know the company. Okay, I didn't want to screw it up and give them credit. So this, ready? Shows up exactly like the old yellow notepad. The sticky here your 13-year-old does for a bag of weed. And look what happened. My appointment today came in with the letter. He said it was the most brilliant marketing ever. My client Peggy Lynn Spiker, who moved from Washington, D.C. to now sells houses in Maui and is killing it in Maui. Every time she gets a buyer where there is no inventory, she has the buyer identify the communities they want to be in, the type of properties they want to be in, and she sends the yellow letters. So far for her, it's like 10 listings. But that's 10 different buyers that she was representing when there was no inventory. So we all know the magic buyer letter. We all know, yikes, I have a buyer, there's no inventory, because it shows up like this. And can you guys see how that was folded? So it's not showing up in a real estate envelope. It's showing up like in an invitation envelope. And if you want to kill direct mail with something like this, put a birthday cake or a wedding cake stamp on it. Every one of them gets opened. You with me? Every one of them, because they're like, oh my God, honey, we're being invited to, what's this? And most of you know, these are typically written by a robot, right? And it's just, again, it's brilliant marketing. So what are we at now? Okay, 97. Okay, this one's totally bananas also. You guys have all had this experience, like looking for a home to buy in this exact area. My client literally screenshot me this exact map. This is the area that we're searching in. How brilliant is that? And then who got the mailer? We're on Lord Street, we're on Opal, we're on, right? I know it's a weird mailer. Isn't that a great way to start? I know it's a weird mailer, but it's a very real buyer need. Hi, my amazing clients, Mike and Christina, their daughters are looking to buy a house. I live in a 3-bedroom, 1,500 square feet, up to $3 million. Make sense? Okay, do me a favor, look at your buddy and say, is this different from your direct mail? Give him the answer, yes or no. I give that 1 or 2, but like this one, it's every time you have a buyer Every time you have a buyer, you're sending something like this. And by the way, do you think the consumer actually did this, or do you think he did it for his client? What do you guys think? I'm gonna go with he probably did it for his client. Okay, I think I have a few more. Do you guys sell any condos? Okay, now again, this is very specific. This is talking with the client. What's the problem going on? Well, hey, they're about to raise the HOA in this condo subdivision. Oh, before that gets announced, 5 signs you're ready to sell your condo. Number 4 may surprise you. They're about to raise the HOA. It's thoughtful marketing in this environment that wins, my friends. It's not spray and pray anymore. You with me? It's about being thoughtful about what's going on in the minds of the consumers. My mortgage buddy over here, you'll appreciate this, because that number, if you did this in, say, February 3rd or 4th of this year when the rates went to 5.9? And this number skyrocketed to like put a 4 in front of that, right? Why is buyer demand on the rise? When rates started to rise so quickly, the market froze, but that's changing in recent weeks. Mortgage applications are up, appropriate number, right, to the last week. See, thoughtful, meaningful, real marketing that people are like, yeah, that makes sense. Hey, this is good news for you if you want to sell, or in the spring, the first step is to find out what you guys can sell for. Buyer demand is up. You with me? How many of you have the is it okay if I'm like 2 minutes late today, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, since I'm already 4 minutes late? Thank you. Are you all going to follow my buddy Domo? Okay. There was a piece that I posted a couple days ago. I'm sure you guys all saw it. It was the map of the U.S. it was either Forbes or it was the Wall Street Journal. Home prices fall in the West while the East booms. This is your next green screen, right or wrong, guys? That's your green screen this afternoon. But this, I would take this piece and I would put it on a direct mail piece and I'd send it to my database. Make sense? And it would be something like, stop paying attention to national news, find out exactly how much your home has gone up in the last 12 months. All right, I'm almost done. That could be one of the best marketing pieces ever. So my coaching client, Eileen Rivera, so Eileen sends this. Now, just imagine you're a homeowner. She's the #1 agent in this subdivision of about 3,000 houses called Bixby Knolls in Long Beach, California. She did not send it to all 3,000. She sent it to like the 350 homes in the back where there's only one entrance to get into the community. And she's apologizing for how much traffic she's created. Ready? Hi, my name is Eileen Rivera, and I wanted to reach out to invite you to a premier open house at 3933 Rose Avenue this Saturday, April 30th. Please stop by and say hello. I also wanted to apologize for any traffic or parking difficulties. My marketing is so freaking good that it cost. Please enjoy a cup of coffee on me for the inconvenience. And basically the sticky was, come by the open house and I'll give you a $5 Starbucks gift card. Now guess what happened? She had like 200 people. You guys would do Dunkin' Donuts, whatever, right? Same thing. But she goes to Costco, she buys a bunch of them in bulk, and as neighbors are walking in, she's like, hey, can you guys sign in? Here you go. Can you sign in? Here you go. And she's collecting all this data. That was a killer marketing piece. This is the best just sold card on the planet. We're over 100 now.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? What does a typical agent's just sold card look like? Just sold. 4 days. Multiple offers. Charming 4-bedroom. Are you even reading this? Your next postcard should somewhere in the middle of it say, are you still reading this? Just to capture people. So look at this. So Robert Mack, longtime client, home preparation and marketing with Robert Mack. Week 1, 2, 3, 4. Contractor proposals, handyman, design, seller preparation, remove furniture, interior painting, minor repairs made, new flooring, exterior paint. Week 3, design. Week 4, on market. We did all this stuff. Seller testimonial. The results of superior marketing: 40 private showings in 5 days, over 5,000 views on Zillow, Realtor, Redfin. Redfin designated hot home, multiple offers received, sold 11 days, $86,000 above asking. Here's the difference. This is all the stuff we did to prepare. If you're thinking about marketing, as I was mentioning earlier, to somebody 65 years or older and they've been in the house for 30 years or more, do you want to know why they're not going to call you? Because they're embarrassed about their home. Because it's just a lived-in home. So by showing before and after photos, look at this. Winnebago in a tent, now cleaned up, before kind of dark and mucky and shit everywhere, right? You guys see the before and after? Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, she can help us. He's done this before. Makes a big, big difference. Got it? Okay, last piece. Did you hear what just happened? Another one is, did you hear about your neighbor? That one's killer. By the way, door knocking script, knock, knock, knock. They're like, hi, can I help you? Hi, my name is Tom. I'm with Bear Real Estate. Did you hear about your neighbor? And they go, Sally's still sleeping with Fred? You're like, no, but it sounds like a future seller. Thank you. You're like, no, they put their home on the market 2 weeks ago. They sold in 4 days, and they improved your value by maybe $80,000 to $90,000. Everybody in the neighborhood wants to know that, yes or no, guys. And that's all she's doing here, right? Here's exactly what happened, yada, yada, yada. Okay, stop. So what do you guys think about? So I only have like 3 slides left, and then we're done, and I'm super late. Idris. I'm trying to find my trailer guy. Okay, good, all right. So let's not miss the airplane. That's all I want to say. Okay, so what are you thinking about? Tell everybody, because I gave you guys a ton. What are you guys thinking about? Video. Johnny, I love you. Johnny, you're gonna kill. Question, really fast. I don't want to leave you hanging, but I do gotta go. Question, hey Idris, text Ruby and just say, we're gonna be running a couple minutes late.
Okay.
Okay, questions? I don't want to leave you hanging. Question, real loud.
LAER with the state with the equity analysis, like scan this your.
Yes, this one.
That is just that.
Yes.
So there's no site that they're going on to plug in their.
No,
information.
they're going to a landing page.
Yeah.
So if you go ChatGPT, what are the cheapest, best landing pages for real estate capture? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's the prices. Right? Get one of them. It'll cost you $39. But if you're going to do this campaign, you have to have a landing page that is customizable and that it can be the same exact color, not your face all over it. You with me? All the things you need for the DRE. You got to stay compliant, right? You've got to be smart brokers. But all you want is address. And then, because most people say name, they're like, I'm not giving you my name. But I'll give you my address because I'll do that on Zillow, right? So if you follow those same steps, address, and then you want to say like maybe how long you've lived in the house, and you can customize that. And then if you want email or cell phone, and I always put the red thing and say it's not mandatory because I'm going to go to Property Radar and get it anyway. Does that make sense? Cool, got it? Okay, other questions? You're all going to do 100% of what I taught you, right? Hey. Can we clap it up for Stacy for making this happen? Okay, so what's working right now, people? Working, right? Couple more things. Decision time. So what new structure are you going to put in place? What new structure are you going to put in place? So you do what you say you're going to do. Right? What new structure? Second question is, how can you simplify your week and get the noise out of the way to do the haboo, which is the highest and best use of your time? Like, remember that schedule I gave you? Like, what if you just put that into your phone and said, that's my schedule? And I know real estate's different every day, and I got a closing, and I got a home inspection. I get all that stuff. But if you just control your mornings, everything else can be done in the afternoon. That's where all the action is. Control your morning, light up your business, send your 5 to 10 text messages, get your emails out, make your phone calls, schedule appointments, do all your follow-up, and then let the rest of the day be what it is. Number 3, how are you going to execute more with marketing? I make the argument, if you don't have a weekly scheduled meeting that says marketing for the next month, where every time you have a new idea, you just put it on that Tuesday 3 o'clock meeting, and it's non-negotiable. You're there to figure out what your marketing is for the next month. That's how you create structure for it. And then number 4 is, what place do you need to stop running? What's the stuff you know you do that doesn't apply to this market? that isn't resonating with today's buyers, today's sellers. Stop doing it, let it go. Right? Don't keep running the play that doesn't work. Now, take just a second and look at that. This is just the truth. I just made this slide up yesterday flying over here. I'm like, why is it that most people will not do anything I'm talking about? Number one is a lack of meaningful emotionally charged goals. Look up here. How many of you have a family? Say aye. Aye. Do you like them?
Yes.
If you had more income coming in, could it solve some of their problems?
Maybe.
I have just found I will do infinitely more for my wife, my mother-in-law, my children, my family. I'll do way more for them than I will for myself. Right? So I'm just hell-bent on if I want structure. How many of you want more structure to book more appointments? Say aye. Okay, go back to your children. I don't care how old they are and say, I'm going to schedule X number of appointments in the second quarter, and when I do, you get whatever you want. My sons, forever, we want to go to Orlando, Disneyland. And I'm like, ah. But if that's what they want, guess what? Because guess what I'm going to get every day? Daddy, did you book an appointment? Daddy, did you book an appointment? Daddy, where are you? Are we going? I got my mouse here. Let's go. Come on, Daddy, make more foot, right? And now all of a sudden you have structure even when they're 32. It's the same. All I want is as much structure as I can get to do the performance I need to do. But the second one is not enough structure, as we just mentioned. Number three is you're not going to modernize the business in one place that are working. Everything I showed you today, there's no theory in this. It's just, here's what happened, look at the results, here's what happened, look at the results, just follow the execution. But the last one is, you lack the mental toughness that's required. Remember the J curve? Because you're like, right now, some of you are like this, like, whoa, and it looks really far. And it is, but it's only for a couple seconds. Have you ever gone snowboarding before? I was up on a heli trip with some buddies. I'm the only snowboarder, they're all skiers, right? So it's easy for them to navigate. I gotta bounce around like a duck. We get up to the first peak, and they're just working their way up. I gotta take my board off, walk all the way up this hill. I look down and I'm like this. I'm going to die. This is the first run of the day. It's all powder. It's fantastic, beautiful day. And I'm over this thing like this, and my buddy Claude Nicole is one of my closest friends. He's like, just get closer, Ferry. And I'm like, dude, I gotta be honest, that looks really far. And he's like, you're gonna be fine. You're the border. You have to go first. And I'm like, okay. I think he was just lying to me, but I was like, okay, I am the only border. And as I edged closer, he was like this. Now, for 1 millisecond, I was like this. Ah! And then I hit the powder and I was like this. I'm never going to not do this this is the only way I want to snowboard for the rest of my life. So it's always scary when you make that first move. That's why it says clip of, oh my God, where's Tom Ferry? So on Sunday when you send the email, it'll be frightening. Today when you hit the first green screen, you hit send, and you hit it, it'll be scary for 1 second, but then all of a sudden people start to respond, and you're like, wait a minute, this is good, and then you're building up the muscle of change. But most of you won't do it because you're a bunch of candy asses. Say with love, say with appreciation, because I'm that way in certain areas of my life too. But this is your business. This is your business. This is your livelihood. So if not you, do it for your kids. If not you, do it for the people you love. And if not them, do it for the damn people inside your phone that might end up listening to their house with some dumbass. Does that make sense? Okay, all right, thank you very much. All right. QR code that really fast if you want all my slides and all my stuff. Hit that QR code. All my slides and all my stuff.
And let's stand to give a round of applause for an amazing day. Thank you, Tom. I'm excited today, Tom, because of you. I raised my goal. Based on all of your numbers today, we should be doing 20,000 transactions this year at $10 billion.
Yes. All right, so one last thing. When you click on this, I'm giving you 15 detailed, 7 to 10 page listing attraction campaigns. Do not just go print. Pick the 3 or 4 that you want, that you will actually have, and then print those out. Does that make sense? Otherwise, you're just killing trees unnecessarily. If you want information on what we do, there'll be a pop-up that says, hey, you want to know what we do with our coaching clients? Fill out that form and see if that makes sense for you. Otherwise, we just want to give you everything. Make sense? Okay, can we give Stacy a giant round of applause? Thank you.